What's going on, everybody? It's your boy ptkblam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast, episode 373. How are all you beautiful people doing out there? Shout out to everybody that's going to be hanging out with us on chat. Shout out to everybody going to be watching on replay. We appreciate you guys. As you guys can see, the guests have not arrived yet, but they have let me know that they will be here. Shout out to Ains. Shout out to Mav as well. And then Fuzz is not here this week, so shout out to him and his lovely wife. I believe they're hanging out this weekend, so shout out to them. But I greatly appreciate all you guys. I do got my other brother with us, so we're going to run the pick and roll two-man game, Kobe and Shaq, today for a little while until the guests get here, man. But hope you guys have an awesome week. Once again, retweet the link. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. Come hang out with us every single Saturday. Look at me, I'm all thrown off. Sunday evening. Shout out to all you guys, man. But Pong, how you been? What you been up to this week, brother? I know you said you've been, time constraints withstanding. You've been doing a whole lot of working, but outside of that, man, what you been up to? Anything to sell this week? We have any wares?
Well, I mean, I was coming with something, although I'm playing so little these days, but I did have to make time because it's the perfect style of game. I've been selling a lot of these lately, but it's the perfect style of game for when you are busy to drop in and drop out of. Unless you're one of those people that have zero problem of, saving and logging out of a big expansive game. I have a problem with that because I get addicted and I want to stay in it. So like I really want to keep playing Hell Is Us, but then I know I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I got a gift from Gamepass this week, right? So nice. they dropped Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, a game I did not
played it.
I did not know I needed it. I did not know this game existed, which was very strange for me. And all of a sudden it showed up at Game Pass and I've been kind of out of the loop. I haven't been on social media. I still am not back on social media a lot. So I didn't even know, but I had, I log in every couple times a day and try to scroll through a bunch of stuff. And I had seen scores in the mid 80s for this thing. And I was like, what are we doing? Because obviously I played Deep Rock Galactic before, right? Co-op. We know the Fun Spec family. We tried it out. It was a cool little game,
Great
right?
Game.
Yeah, cool game. That's not something I certainly spent a lot of time with, but it was a cool game. It was a cool concept. Love dwarves, so hey, let's go. All of a sudden, you're telling me they made a Survivor game and it's getting mid 80s. I'm like, yo, okay, well, we got to download this. Like,
Fun fact. I've been on this game for a while now. I've watched it on stream. I watched Asmongold play it. I watched a ton of streamers play it probably about a year and a half ago. So I have been on this, and this is one of them games very much like Halls of Torment, which is another vampire survivors like that I've always wanted to come to console, and now finally both of these games are on console. So I had to say that. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, I shot out Halls of Torment months ago because I have it on Steam. And it's a beautiful game, bro.
Oh, man, so good.
It's a really good game. And I've been playing Achilles Survivor, too, recently, which is another Survivor game based on Achilles game franchise as well, over on Steam. But this game right here, when I saw mid-80s, I was like, okay, it has to be doing something different. Everybody knows about the Survivor genre now. Like, this is nothing new. It's been copied a billion times already, rightfully so, because it is addictive for those people who love the loop, and it hits all the right notes for me. It always has. I dove into Vampire Survivors when it dropped, and I was hooked instantaneously. It's like crack. So I said, whoa, they've got to be doing something. First two runs, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, now I see what we got going on here. Okay, this is not just good, this is really good. This takes a lot of things, because again, you go try all these survivors, like Achilles Survivor, they're all a little different. Like Achilles Survivor has like a little tower defense to it, where you got to build out for different buildings while you're so there's a lot of different people who have tried a lot of different things with the genre. This one right here, man, with the leveling
resource
up,
collecting,
the resource collecting, the way that they have separated out the different classes to include different weapon styles. Listen, I have opened up the engineer. The engineer class has got to be one of my favorite freaking classes of all time in any Survivor game.
I believe
the turrets,
right?
bro, and you can get them to follow you, and you can get them to mine for you as well. They will mine in the rocks next to you. But when you get those turrets, and then you get the little Tesla little towers going with the electricity, and you have the turrets, bro, you are absolutely melting the bosses, melting them. Like, I'm getting legendaries out of each and every single one of the bosses. And then but you're only in the first level of difficulty, and then you got the second level of difficulty, and then they've got all these different areas you got to open up. Oh, and then you got weapon mastery. Then you got these weapon mastery runs where you can go ahead and you've mastered a weapon. Well, guess what? You only get to take one weapon. You don't get to go ahead and get 4 weapons. No. We're going to give you 1 weapon, and you get to go in and try to run the whole thing with just 1 weapon that you're leveling up the whole entire time. And then we're going to open it up so that you go ahead and we're going to have you do submissions where you go ahead and have to protect a minecart or whatever the hell it is, and you got to protect that thing. So we're going to have that involved too. And I don't even know what else is there because I haven't opened up all of it yet.
A lot of content.
My gosh, is this a good Survivor game? Not just a good Survivor game. This is a very good to great Survivor game for the amount of time that I've now put into it. I love this game. It was not, like I said, it wasn't a game I needed. I knew I needed, but here we are, and it's awesome. It's freaking amazing. It's one of the best evolutions of the genre. A very young genre, by the way, but still one of the best iterations I've seen yet. Beautiful. I love this game.
So I second that motion, chat. So if you guys have not played Deep Rock Galactica Survivor, go play it in Game Pass. Phenomenal game, tons of replay value. You know, I am a stand for those kind of games. I play the Potatoes, the Vampire Survivors, the Army of Ruins, the Halls of Torment. You know, that's me all day long. So I'm really into it. It's a great game. Like you said, I played it maybe a day or two ago. I jumped in for probably an hour and a half, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I didn't open up a whole lot, but the bit I played about 2 or 3 levels. It was incredibly enjoyable because I've been on this game for maybe a year and a half now, watching people play it on stream. I just like this genre. Like you said, it hits everything for me. You can jump in, not feel guilty about playing for 20, 30 minutes, doing a couple runs, because you're going to get something out of the run. Like, you know, even if you just do 1 run, you're going to get something. You know what I mean? That's going to be useful, whether it's points, XP.
Yeah, and this one's got loot. This one's got actual loot. You've actually got slots where you equip different pieces of equipment as well, which is a whole nother aspect of this, which I absolutely freaking love. Of course, RPG
that's like
loot.
Halls of Torment, same thing. You know, you got gear as well too. You got rings and helmets and boots and stuff you can put on top of just the Vampire Survivor. Like, so yeah, very good game, chat. Go play it. Easy W. You don't even have to think about it. Go download it. It's only like 6 gigs or something, so very, very small, doesn't take up a whole lot of space, but a very good game. It's one of them you could probably get 500 hours out of it, Pong, if you really stretched it easily. I
mean, with how much content there is, sure, replayability, absolutely.
Absolutely. So we're gonna jump in here, Chad. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us once again. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to BT Thatch is in here. What's up, Jasper? I saw Jasper dropping in here. Once again, let everybody know the shop is live, man. We're having a good time today. The guests will be dropping in here shortly. As they drop in here, Mav and Ains, I'll go ahead and just get them to introduce themselves, but shout out to everybody hanging out with us, man. You guys are fucking awesome and amazing. But let's get into this, man. We're gonna start with the first topic, man. We talking a little bit about the ROG Ally X, and some things have changed, Pong, since this device was first introduced. You know, we've been waiting on a few things.
You're gonna have to inform me here. You're gonna have to inform me.
So I mean, some things have changed. Well, I think the biggest thing, nothing specific with the device, because we have the release date, but we don't have prices yet, so that hasn't changed. We have, you know, obviously that, but some things about the prices have changed.
Oh,
right, some things and I'm sure you're aware of those things already. Obviously, the price increase on the console happened again recently. So obviously that might have an effect on, they've been holding off the price point as well. They've been waiting to the very last minute to give people the price point. I assume this is probably part of the reason why, chat. But Pong, I just want to get your opinion on, do you think this is going to have an adverse effect on the actual price? Because I mean, there's been the price swirling around out there. There's been a little bit of, I wouldn't call them leaks, but there's been a couple websites that have shown some prices. We don't know how accurate they are, but do you think this recent price increase has maybe altered where they were going to go with the price point?
No, I've been saying this for a very long time. We've been talking about price points on next gen for quite a while now, actually. Probably going back to last year at this point, where we've been speculating, right? We've been in speculation town ever since we started hearing kind of their plans of what they're going to do. Obviously, at that time, We didn't know that they were going to go third party with the handheld, right? We thought they might come out with their own handheld. But all that I think remains the same. And my personal speculation and opinion has always been, and I think it's starting to come to fruition here, at least for Xbox, and I think that PlayStation will most likely be following suit. We'll see to what degree, that the days of taking losses on hardware are over. These two companies have sat here and watched Nintendrones just absolutely buy up old hardware, and Nintendo just profit hand over fist on their hardware.
Never do sales on any of their games.
Yeah, now you got Nintendo not only selling old hardware, but selling old type games at $80. Not even up to date, current, what we would say tech wise games.
Amiibos at $30.
Again, I'm not attacking the fun. I'm not attacking the Nintendo. Again, I've given nothing but respect to Nintendo for what they do. Respect that hustle. But what I'm saying is, PlayStation and Xbox have been looking over at them, crushing it, right? With this mentality. I said all along this next generation was going to, the hardware wise, was going to be for enthusiasts. We're going to see hardware, especially for Xbox, because of the hybrid system it looks like they're doing. And I think that obviously that even in the handheld side of things, that it is a hybrid system still. So I've said all along that this is now an enthusiast hobby when it comes to the hardware, that they aren't going to take the losses anymore, that they are going to pass the costs onto the consumer. And in fact, probably start passing along some profit-making costs to the consumer as well. This isn't going to be a loss or break-even thing anymore. This is going to be, let's make some money for those people who absolutely, we are going to offer them very enticing hardware. We are going to offer them, some very cutting-edge stuff here with AI chips and all sorts of things, and we're going to redo this whole UI, and we're going to give them the seamless experience. But they are going to have to pay. This is not going to be for the faint of heart. This is not going to be for the, the casual consumer per se anymore. We have other devices for them. In fact, we're going to, start improving our cloud our cloud tech. We want to compete with NVIDIA, GeForce Now in that space. So we are going to make the adjustments, but we're going to have other devices. They're going to be able to play on their tablets, they're going to be able to play on their phones, they're going to be able to play on their TVs, they're going to be able to play wherever they want to, streaming our games. But if you want the hardware, right, you are going to have to make a decision. If you want actual Xbox hardware or third-party hardware, you don't want to buy a PC, it is going to cost you more. Now, it's not going to cost you the same as a PC, but it is going to cost you upwards of these types of dollar amounts that we are hearing. So with this handheld market, with the type of handheld that they are putting out according to spec-wise, I think this falls right in line. I've said all along that I thought their handheld would come out between $800 and $1,000, right? I think that's also what I thought, at least the upper end one, right? They are going to have a lower one, but I've said all along that I expected this, and I expected that their console will be pushing $900 to $1,000, and I do believe that, and I think it's going to offer specs that are compelling, and I think it's going to offer you a something that maybe for the first time ever, a modular console that you will be able to upgrade if they are very strong in these partnerships that they are now creating with third parties. I think that you could see other third parties offer different power levels of Xbox consoles that might be a little bit cheaper. But I think that the Xbox themselves, I think this is where they're positioning themselves, and I think that this is going to be the same for Sony going forward too. I'm not saying maybe to the same degree, because I don't know if Sony is going to put as much new tech in their box as Xbox is going to do with AI and that kind of stuff. They're certainly going to have their own, but I just don't know if they're going to have as much, and I don't think they're going to go hybrid here, so I don't think it's necessarily going to be a modular design, but I do think that these price points are something that people should expect, and I don't think that this has changed anything. I think they know there's going to be sticker shock, and that's why they are holding off here a little bit on the handheld, but they're going to rip that Band-Aid off. They're going to show, what they've been doing is they've been building the case for it by showing it off and showing how great things are running, especially with the UI, but how great the performance as well. They've been showing that off. They've been building the case for this. So when they do rip off that Band-Aid, maybe people won't flinch as much, but obviously, obviously, as consumers, I will never sit up here and stand for these billion-trillion-dollar companies, passing off every cost to the consumer and saying, oh, this is just fantastic. Be lucky that we're getting anything, which is what a lot of people try to sell you, folks. A lot of snake oil salesmen out here who love corporations will tell you, oh, just be thankful they're making anything for you these days. Just pay them. Nah, I ain't going to do that. But this is in line with what I kind of expected.
Yeah. To be fair, too, we got the receipts on the show. Yeah, I agree 100%. You've always kind of held that position in regards to costs that ultimately will be more of an enthusiast machine. So shout out to you in that opinion. But we got our two guests. They did show up once again, chat. Make sure you show some love in the chat to our two guests. Shout out, Mav.
Perfect.
Shout out.
I talked long enough to get them in here.
I know, right?
Plan that out. See how I plan that
absolutely
out?
Perfect. Goddamn time.
What is up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Guys? How we doing?
How you doing? It's been a while. What's up, Ains? How you doing, sir?
I'm good, guys. It's been a very long time. Yeah, and sorry about that for anyone watching. We're moving the youngest son out of the house today. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Big step.
Yeah, my wife's. She ain't doing too well, but generally speaking, it went well. So just kind of running behind with the truck and everything. So sorry about that. But yeah, man,
I've been good.
Good to catch up with you guys. It has been too long. I've kind of been behind the scenes a little bit, and
good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting.
I appreciate you guys, man. Mav, what's up, brother, man? How you doing, sir?
I was watching the Cowboys get their asses kicked by the Bears right now.
How is that even possible, Mav? Oh, that's right. That's right. Who's your quarterback again? Oh, sorry.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Well, it's like we switched to his own defense. It doesn't seem to work too well when we don't have a pass rush. If only we had somebody like Micah Parsons on the team, that sure would have helped. Yeah, man, it's been going good though. I had to run out and do a couple things real quick before I was able to make it back in time. So sorry about that.
No,
it's good to see you, Ains. It's been a really long time, dude.
Really long. Yeah, man.
And yeah, it's been so long. I've seen you too, Pong. Oh my gosh, man, it feels like it's been forever.
It hasn't been though.
I know it's been like 3 days. But yeah, it's good to be here, PTK. It's good to be back. Got lots to talk about, man.
Yeah, let's get into it. So you guys, perfect segue. And shout out to everybody in chat. Make sure our guests are very welcome here. They're not truly guests. They've been here for a while now, but we appreciate it every single time they show up. So make sure you guys show some love. All that information is down in the description below. But I'm going to throw this over to you, Ains. It's kind of a blind alley-oop. So I don't know if you caught the end of or just the gist of what Pong was talking about. But the topic is essentially, obviously we had that price increase. Nobody's happy about that. Obviously, we had that price increase, but the specific question is, how is that going to play into the launch of this Xbox handheld into the Xbox Ally X? Is that cost? They've held off for a very long time. Like you said, they've kind of showcased why you should have the handheld, versus give everybody the price and then show it afterwards. So they've kind of been holding the cards very close to their chest. But do you think this is a part of the reason why, as well as how big of an effect is this increase going to have on that handheld, Mav? I mean, Mav, but Ains.
Yeah, I mean, good questions. I did catch the tail end there. Yeah, I think it's kind of been funny seeing the lead up to this handheld, because I missed the beginning of what you guys talked about, but all the positivity around it and the people I've talked to that have been fortunate enough to get their hands on it are very positive about it, right? The UI supposedly slick, the form factor supposedly excellent. But what we're dealing with right now, especially, for us listening in the US, right, it's just a crazy set of conditions. And you see that in what's happened with the price increases across the board on a number of things, from not just Xbox, but PlayStation, Nintendo. I was joking with someone earlier. They got $50 amiibos. Like, what the hell are we doing out here, man? It's crazy. Yep. So, yeah, I don't know, honestly. I mean, none of us really know, but I think there's a couple things that are interesting about it. One is that Xbox isn't building this hardware themselves, right? So I think depending on the kind of architecture that Asus has with, or I should say deals and agreements with their hardware manufacturers like the AMDs of the world, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if what type of agreement Xbox and Asus came to in terms of this partnership, and who's going to kind of leverage some of that strength, there in terms of what that cost looks like. But I'll be honest with you, just my personal opinion, with what we're seeing across industries in a lot of areas, I think anything's on the table. It would not surprise me to see this come out at more than we thought it would be, or to even see a price increase further down the line. Which I think, to Pong's last point is, at some point, you also have to ask the question of, what is all of that expense being passed to the consumer? I mean, I joked on Bitcast earlier today, we're talking about the richest country in the history of history. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of Microsoft. And it's like, at some point, if you want people in your ecosystem and you want people on your devices, you have to be a loss leader to some degree. And it feels like, at least at this point in time with the technology sectors, they're passing the majority of that on to consumers. And we could argue all day about whether that's right or wrong from a corporate perspective, but it doesn't feel good. I can tell you that. So I honestly don't know. I would say that if I have it correct, I believe the price that Best Buy leaked on their system was $549 and $899 for the S and X. And I don't know. I think part of why it's been so long waiting to know exactly what we're getting when and for how much is because of the shifting kind of macroeconomic factors, and it won't surprise me if it goes up further. That's what I'll say.
No, good point. Good point. There's a lot of moving parts here, and I think that's, kind of the theme of this topic, in reality, is that there's a lot of things going on, and with the economy being the way it is, things happening last minute, you got to kind of play your cards as close to your chest as you can. And like you said, kind of build the value in the actual machine. Because you're right. One thing we tend to forget about as time goes on is it really did. People were very optimistic when it first came out. I was actually pleasantly surprised about the general optimism of the handheld. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty goddamn positive. Like, I didn't really see too many people displaced or upset about the actual handheld itself. There were more people that were actually kind of over surprised. You know what I mean? They were kind of pleasantly surprised with the device than they were disappointed. So you're right about that one, Ain. So let me throw this over to you, Mav. Get your quick opinion on this. Obviously, this thing has been highly anticipated, Mav, and it's crazy. Let's just stop for a second, guys. I know we're talking about an Xbox handheld in 2025. That's crazy just to say, you know what I mean? Me being in this ecosystem for 20 plus years, most of us being here for 20 plus years, I never even thought we'd actually get a handheld, but here we are. But either way, Mav, with the price being quicksand, things changing, do you think that plays a part in why we're getting this price point so late? And do you think, how big of an effect is this change going to have on the price?
Yeah, I think we're getting this so late because they hadn't been set, and it's just probably going to be really expensive. And, I think if they were confident or could have it at a lower price point, we probably would have already had that by now. I feel like the prices would have been out. Even though Destin Legary, shout out to him, had a video where he said he knew the price. He said he knew the price. Unfortunately, that wasn't real at all, but it's okay. Sorry, for some reason the Cowboy game audio started playing in my headphones, and I don't know how to get it to stop right now. Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah. So Dustin had put a video saying like, "Hey, we got an exclusive photo of the pricing," and it was a picture of like the original ROG Ally X, right? And then he called somebody at Best Buy saying that they had confirmed the price, which was just like the placeholder thing, that we know of right now. So unfortunately, we don't know what the price is. I do think is a potential it'll be more expensive than what's currently out there now, because otherwise, why wouldn't they have told us? As far as is it going to be too much? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like it's an Xbox, but it's an Xbox as much as a PC is an Xbox. You know what I mean? Like, so with the quality of the hardware, with the amount of power that's in it and all that stuff goes in, it's going to be a premium device. But I feel like with how they're marketing it as an Xbox handheld console, kind of, it creates a lot of confusion with console enthusiasts looking to get an Xbox handheld, right? Which is kind of the catch-22 that they have to go against, because that's the market they want to go after. Like, and that's the market that ROG wants to go after. Okay, well, we've had these PC handhelds, but we're partnering with Xbox and we want to go after the console market, We want to go after the people that aren't these PC heads that are used to paying all this much for all these high-end hardwares, because console enthusiasts are used to paying less, right? We're used to paying $400, $500, $600 really for a console top tier at this point. And that's the market they're going after. So when you're saying, okay, we're going to have a Xbox handheld, and then people are like, oh, Xbox, yeah, and you're just not used to something of that price point. So it's kind of, it's a PC, really. It's not really a console. It's got Xbox ergonomics on it, but it's really going to do about the same things that the regular ROG Ally X is going to do. So there's really not going to be much difference between those devices, except for the ergonomics of it, after the ROG Ally X gets its updates as well, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how the market adopts this with the Xbox enthusiasts. Like, I think there is going to be a large amount of people that buy it because it's Xbox, right? Because you have your Xbox fans out there, like, Mr. Boomstick. Well, I don't know if he said or not, but I think he'd be in the line day one because it's like an Xbox. You know what I mean? And it's going to be interesting to see how that translates to sales. I don't think this is going to be also a device where there's not like a regular console where there's just pumping out as many millions of these as they possibly can because they're used to this 20, 30 million people wanting to get them in the first year. Like the PC handheld market's been relatively small.
Yeah.
So will this exceed demand as well? Because will they demand exceed what they're able to produce on this? Because the PC handhelds haven't been produced at such a high quantity yet.
I mean, even a Steam Deck only did what, like a milli in the first. It took it like a year to do a mil or something.
Right.
Along those
So.
lines?
Yeah, are the PlayStation fanboys gonna be like, oh, the Xbox ROG Ally only sold 2 million units? Well, they may have only make 2 million units, so it's hard to say what this is gonna look like because this is kind of uncharted territory. It's uncharted territory in any way for a console platform to now be launching a PC themed device that exceeds the price points that we expect for console hardware, right?
Yeah.
So it's completely uncharted territory. I think it's going to be worth it for the enthusiast of it, right? For hey, I want this high-end thing that can do all these different things. I think the functionality of this will be amazing, right? Even with the updates that we're starting to get now because of the Xbox is going this direction, like on the Xbox PC store, being able to access all my libraries from the one app is absolutely freaking awesome, right? And I can see that translating to the handheld, and I can see the whole future outline. But yeah, like Pong said earlier, if this is the direction we're going for sure, right? We are done with them, being the loss leader on the hardware side and passing the cost on to consumer. I think is unfortunately the way it's going to go. Now, it would be nice if they say, this is a flagship type device for our new direction at Xbox, and it's going to set the tone for how we launch our next hybrid hardware and all this other kind of stuff. And we really want to make sure we get into this as many hands as possible. So we're going to do some kind of deal with Asus to make sure that we are able to ship this at a decent price. But because they haven't announced anything like that yet, I would bet that's not going to happen. So yeah, I'm expecting 900 plus for the higher end version. The fact that they haven't even announced it yet, I think it might be more expensive than the ROG Ally X that's out there now.
Interesting.
Because if it was the same price, that would be safe.
No, that's true. I mean, there's like you said, if the idea is that if it was coming in lower, that they would have already announced it, right? That's kind of hinging upon that.
Because you would be trying to build hype around it, excitement, see how many pre-orders you can fly off the shelves right away. You know what I mean? When they get it out there. It's really close to launch now. What is it October 16th, I think?
I believe the 16th, I believe.
Yeah. I remember that day because it's my mom's birthday. I think I just remember what they said. They said the date was. So Well, yeah, we're talking about like a little over 3 weeks away, like, and still no official pre-order and price out there. Is a little strange for a device like this. Now, it does also seem more of like what cell phones do. You know what I mean? Like, it's when the iPhone goes out and announces, "Hey, get the iPhone 17 Pro." It's like announced, and then it goes on sale like a week later. You know?
Yeah.
So maybe with these types of devices, that's going to be what we can expect now. I'm not sure, man. It is a little strange though.
Yeah. Like you said, uncharted territory. Who knew we'd even be here talking about this? Like you said, that's a crazy thing about all of this. But that was a great opening topic. Nice to warm things up. Shout out to everybody in chat, Poison, BT, all you guys hanging out down there. Once again, hit the like button, retweet as well. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. But so I usually don't do this, but because I wanted you guys to do a little bit of research, you, Mav, and Ains, I sent out a couple topics ahead of time. Hopefully you guys were able to look at them. A couple questions we had lined up today and kind of get a general idea specifically for this next topic. So I want to talk about as good as 2025 has been, well, hell, the last 3 or 4 years, as good as they've been, and Pong would say, I'm going to steal this tag, Pong. Once again, you'd be a millionaire if you put this on t-shirts, the golden age of gaming.
Hey, you owe me 10,000 already, so let's go.
What? Wait. We didn't get that. There's no kind of writing.
Just call. I'm going to treat you like Nintendo treats its customers.
Oh,
and
you
its,
can't.
Competitors.
After the fact,
I'll see you in court, PTK.
Yeah.
I'll see you in court.
No, but 2025 has been an amazing year. We've talked about it on this show many times that, this year has been stacked, and we look at 26 and we say, well, that might be just as good, if not better. So as things continue to go, these awesome games keep coming out, which means that there's always a few that get overlooked. So I kind of pose a question to everybody here, as well as you guys in chat. What are some of the overlooked games of 2025? Because I love giving shout outs. There's a ton of great games out there that really don't get a lot of the credit and the look that they deserve. Sometimes it's for, specific reasons. It could be self-inflicted. Maybe the game didn't, it was broken to start out with. It had issues and it didn't get off to a good start, but it got better later on. Or maybe it just didn't get a lot of coverage. That happens too. There's a lot of great games that aren't broken, that don't come out with any problems, but for whatever reason, they just don't get the look. Maybe they come out too close to a big game, or various other reasons. But I want to start with you on this one, Ains. Maybe you got a few. And I kind of specifically kind of cut it to 2025 if you got a couple games that you think may be overlooked.
Yeah, well, I think the major one that I keep talking about, and I think that it has gotten its flowers, so I don't want to say it's been overlooked, but I think just given the setting of the game, I think maybe turns some people off. But by what I think is the best game so far this year, and I've played everything that would be kind of considered top tier other than Death Stranding 2. That's just, I'm not a fan of that. But, I finished Expedition 33. I finished all the games, I've played Split Fiction that have been talked about. I still think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the greatest games to release in years. It has systems and storytelling in it that very, very few games achieve. And so even though it sold millions of copies, it's very highly rated. I get that. But I still feel like for as good as that game is, it's not getting talked about enough. Maybe that's
so is that a victim of how good the year has been, or is that an injustice to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Because you can kind of make a case either way, right? That the game is so goddamn good. Why is it not getting in? I did kind of prefix this topic with saying that too, because this is how crazy these years are. We can say that for the last 3 years, but I do agree with you. That game, when it did come out, everybody was talking about it as far as being like a true game of the year candidate. And then, like you said, just, for whatever reason, it did kind of die off a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's both, right? I think, like I said, I think the year itself, there's so many games. Like we were talking about games that came out that I forgot even released this year, just because there's been so many good games. But I think that would be a big name one. I think it's also really been a fantastic year. I would shout out not to overlook things like Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden Ragebound. Obviously, Shinobi just came out. There's a lot of Silksong goes without saying, right? Those are a lot of big kind of 2D games that, a lot of people maybe don't look at just because of being 2D or maybe classic style. But I'll give you one that definitely is under the radar to your original question, which is called Eric Scholm, The Stolen Dream. So it's kind of a long title, but Eric Scholm. It's rated it's about in the low to mid 8s, generally speaking. Our reviewer gave it a 9. And it's one that I've seen a lot of other people play because it's it's very cinematic type game. So they really focused on presentation and cinematic quality of like the characters and the writing. And so it's like it basically just tells a very unique story. And I've talked to a few people who have played this, including our reviewer, of course. And he's been very, very kind of vocal about how good it is. So you can look that up. I believe it's on all platforms digitally. I don't know if there's a hard copy of it, but Eric Scholm, it's ERIKSHOLM, The Stolen Dream. So you can check that one out. Yeah, other than that, I was trying to think if there's anything that I've played that really, wouldn't be on any list that I could call out. I've kind of been stuck in review, hell for a while and just covering games. So I not sure I have anything else that would really jump out. Like I said, I wanted to mention Kingdom Come. I wanted to mention Eric Scholm. I'll probably just pass it back to you as I think more and see if anything I think of while the other guys go.
No, it's all good. No worries. No, like you said, that's what makes this particular topic difficult. Because, like you said, there's so many great games that come out this year, and there's so many games that got overlooked for various different reasons. So, chat, let us know what are some of the games for 2025 that you guys think are overlooked. Because there's a lot. There's a bunch of them. So, I'm gonna actually throw this over to you, Mav. See what you can come up with. I'm very curious what you got on your list, brother, because I know you kind of, we're all grazers here to some degree, some more than others. Shout out to you, Paul. But we all do kind of, dabble in different games. So, Mav, what's on your list for 2025, man? Overlooked.
Oh, so I'll go to PC first, and this is a game that I actually enjoy. I haven't played as much of it as I want to, but it didn't get talked about as much as I think it should have because of the craving that everybody's had in the RTS world for a new Command and Conquer game for so long. And there was a game that came out made from ex Command and Conquer devs called Tempest Rising on PC. And it is basically Command and Conquer 100% reincarnated to the T.
Oh,
and it's absolutely awesome. The gameplay is fun. They did make it to where it seems like you can kind of have quicker matches with how fast it seems for me to get through a skirmish as opposed to Command and Conquer. But like with the way the systems work, the bases, they even have the same style kind of career, with the, they don't call it GDI versus NOD, but it's pretty much GDI versus NOD, right? With the way that the careers is structured out. Like, so Tempest Rising is one I think I overlooked from just the games industry in general for the most part, because it is super polished too. Like they took their time coming out with this. It's impressive graphics, great gameplay. So that one I'll call out as kind of like an under the radar one. But then I'm going to throw one that's actually not even out yet.
Really?
In there.
Okay.
Because I feel like this game has had a strange lack of hype for the scope of it and how good it looks. Every time I see it, it's like, wow, this is amazing. And especially with as well received as the first game was. And as hyped as the first game got with like Game of the Year nominations and all these other kind of things. And we got a sequel that's bigger and better and looks crazy good. And I'm talking about Outer Worlds 2, man. Like,
yes.
For me, I feel like this could be one of the biggest games of the year. And every time there's like a showing or anything of it, it's just like, oh, it's Outer Worlds 2. Like, even when it was the first big gameplay, like, remember, like, it was a few years back, we saw the first trailer, and it was just like like a, hey, we don't even know what this game is yet kind of trailer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a joke
trailer. One of the more memorable trailers from that show, too.
Yeah. And then when we saw like the deep dive direct and stuff, like, and I can't blame Xbox. Good. Xbox been marketing this game like crazy. Like, they had it as the deep dive direct at showcase. It shows up at pretty much every event, And when we saw it, I'm like, wow, You know, like they really took a leap with this game. And I don't know if it's because the little people are slightly not soured because of Avowed, but I think some people are kind of like, oh, Avowed was good, you know, but it was just kind of was whatever. I feel like, did that put a hamper on the hype for this, or is this people not into the style of game anymore, or what? But like Outer Worlds 2 looks incredible to me, man, and it might be my most anticipated game for the end of the year now. But yeah, it's just getting a kind of a lack of hype that I feel like it deserves.
So
I go ahead.
Sorry, Blam. I was just going to mention.
Good.
So I was fortunate enough to preview Outer Worlds 2. So we didn't get to play a lot of it, but I did get to play the prologue. And I just want to echo what Mav's saying, and I've said this on in other forums too. Like, if you liked Outer Worlds, but you thought, like me, because I liked Outer Worlds, but if you thought the scope was a little too narrow, the gameplay was a little too narrow, the areas were a little small, you know, you could tell it was not the grandiose experience they were maybe aiming for originally, right? But you enjoyed the aspects of like the humor, the writing, the direction of things. I adored what I played of Outer Worlds 2. It looks and feels like it's going to be exactly what Mav just said, which is that true sequel jump that we've seen in a lot of games, right? Assassin's Creed 2, those types of things.
Yeah.
Where like this feels like it's going to be a much bigger and better experience than I think people are giving it credit for. And after playing those first few hours, it jumped way up on my list because the gunplay feels better. You can tell the environments just look bigger. Like it starts already right out of the gate with like very cool character like abilities and building and like your companions. I think it's going to be a seriously great game.
Agreed. I third that. We've talked about that on the show many times. I agree as well too. So I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring. Mine was going to be actually Avowed for the very same reasons I feel like Outer Worlds 2 is being a little bit underrated as well. That was a phenomenal game for me. It was one of the better RPGs I've ever played. And mind you, I don't have the deepest RPG lore here on anybody on the panel today. So I may be a bit of a noob in that area, but I enjoyed the hell out of the game. I thought it did some very cool things. And shout out to Obsidian for being one of the very few devs to be able to deal with UE5 out of the gate. And I don't think they get enough credit for that. Every other game is busted, broken, needs updates. Shout out to Borderlands. It's a great game. But we're seeing issues. We're seeing, widespread issues. You know what I mean? So that didn't happen with Avowed. I think they had maybe one small update, and that was it. The game ran beautiful. It looked good. It was one of the very few RPGs where I felt like dynamic. I thought the gunplay, the way the combat felt very snappy, the ability to play with a sword and a wand, two wands, two swords, gun wand. You know what I mean? That ability to switch and be on the fly, I thought was really freaking cool. I know some people didn't really like the whole companion aspect, didn't think the narrative, the story was deep enough, or the companions were cool enough, and that's fair. I understand that, but I agree. I think Outer Worlds 2 is bigger, better in every single way. I remember Ains and Mav when IGN did a full-fledged like breakdown of Outer Worlds 2 before we got this showcase this past year or this past few months ago. They did specific videos. They had 8 or 9 videos of all these different aspects, and I literally watched every single video. They were about 15 minutes a piece, and I was blown away with what they were attempting to do with Outer Worlds 2. I don't really think people understand, Ains. Like I really don't think people. I've watched as much gameplay as I can possibly find. I've watched people play that prologue about 30 times. And these are people that probably played the same levels that you played, that beginning level in that little shipyard and that whole area. Maybe that was okay. So I watched that about 20 different times, and everybody that I watched came away really excited about Outer Worlds 2. And these are people that I did not think would even enjoy the game at all. Some people were like, well, goddamn, I wasn't necessarily looking forward to this, but now I absolutely am. So that fits right in line with Mav, how you feel, as well as you, Ains. So I'm on the same boat as you guys. I would argue Obsidian is probably going to be my developer of the year. 3 games. Let's not forget Grounded 2, Ains and Mav. In the middle of all of this. 3 games,
also
2025.
very good.
None of them broken. Good. None of them busted. None of them have issues. Right? Like in a day and age where studios, have gigantic budgets and fail to hit release dates on a consistent basis, this is putting out Obsidian's putting out 3 high quality games, 3 different games, mind you. These are not all the same type of game, although you could argue Avowed and, Outer Worlds 2 are fairly close, but the theme is different. Space is completely different than high fantasy, I would argue, but they're doing a phenomenal job. So I would agree that Avowed would be mine for all the same reasons you guys feel about Outer Worlds 2. So I'm gonna throw this over to you, Pong. Overlooked games of 2025, bro. Do you have any? I know you play everything. You're a true grazer.
No, I mean, I'm a true grazer, so it comes from a place of, a little bit here and there, and a lot of different things. I'm not like Ains where I'm completing games left and right or anything like that. Especially this year too. What? You've been reviewing games, which means you're finishing them out, brother.
Yeah, that's true.
You're very good.
Tiring,
You're very
man.
Good. Oh no, trust me, I could not do it. All right, I've always said that would not be my forte. So, yeah, I've got 2, and one in fact is going to be based upon the demo because I have not had the chance to actually pick up the full copy, but I'm planning on it. But I've seen a gazillion things about it, and it's everything that I've always talked about. So, but we'll start here. Blades of Fire. This is one of my classic low-rated 70 games that I love the hell out of. In fact, the demo sold me on this, and I picked it up day one, and I played a good amount of it when it came out, and I want to get back to it. This game is not going to be for everybody, obviously. When you're talking low 70s, I still think that's a good score. In fact, I like games in the 50s and 60s. Mav and I famously have had podcasts talking about our love for 50s and 60s rated games. But this is one of those ones that fell in May, and there was a lot of games, right? There was a lot of games going around before it and after it, and this was from a little developer called Mercury Steam, and published by 505 Games. It's got some Souls-like to it, which, shockingly enough, did not deter me after I played the demo. It gets difficult, especially for somebody like me who does not like Souls games, but this game is the one where you actually forged your weapons. You would go to the actual smithing spot, and you would have to collect metals, and you would have to collect different things, and then you would have to actually hammer out your weapons, and depending on how you hammered, it was a mini game, and depending on how you hammered out your weapons would determine the quality of those weapons and how long they would last as you were battling. So very interesting, unique ideas here, and again, some people didn't like it. Some people really liked it. The team is super dope. They're heavy on social media, retweeting people's posts with screenshots and all that kind of stuff. This is a really cool game that I know a ton of people missed. But I think that if people gave it a chance, and again, there was a demo. I don't know if I think the demo's still active, actually. You might fall in love with it like I did. There's a lot of cool stuff. This reminds me of a 360 genre type game that we don't get anymore, where a newer developer tried a lot of new things, got some things right, didn't necessarily hit on all of it, but I love that. And I loved when we used to have a plethora of those during the 360 genre when making games was quote unquote cheaper and less risky than it is now, and people tried this stuff. So Blades of Fire is one I'm going to point out.
Nice.
Then the other one that has been around for a considerable amount of time in early access on Steam, but finally released everywhere on console as well. And this is the game that I can only come from the demo perspective and then watching a ton of gameplay from other people playing it. The developer has been patching this game nonstop. When it first dropped, there was a lot of bugs. This comes from basically a solo developer in Questline who did have a little bit of help, but basically a solo developer. But I come on here all the time, PTK, when we talk about Souls games, and I talk about the fact that I would just love one of these Souls game developers to take that atmosphere and turn it into a Western RPG, turn it into a Skyrim, right? Turn it into something. Just take all of that darkness. Well, one dropped, and it's called Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. And I think that this one is sorely underrepresented. I think that people need to go pick this up. For all of my fellow Bethesda fans out there who love the Western RPG genre, who love the first-person perspective in their RPGs, you need to go try Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. This is that dark adult fantasy through and through. It's just a gorgeous game. It is not the most technologically advanced game, right? It's neither are Bethesda games, but it has a lot of the magic that Bethesda has, where randomness occurs. It doesn't hold your hand in a lot of spots. It lets you try things. It lets you go experiment in the world and see what you can get away with. It'll let you break the world in a lot of ways. But this developer has worked tirelessly to fix a lot of the bugs. This was huge on PC. This had a huge following beforehand, but I think once it dropped into console, there was some bugs. But again, when it dropped in May, again around that May area, it didn't come out. It got a 77 score overall, which was good again. But I think it's deserving of a lot of people who love Bethesda to go try it, and they'll see if they like it. So yeah, those are my two.
I want to real quick. I just want to shout out
go ahead.
for saying the games in the 70s are good games, because you know how exhausting it is.
Yes.
Reviewing games and covering games, and when people don't see an 8+, they're like, "Oh, it's not worth playing." I'm like, "Good God, man. Come on, get over that mindset." And then if you rate a game they like a 7, it's a great game. It should be a great game, right? Anything 80+, but the problem you have too is like you can rate someone's game like a 6, 6.5, whatever, and you can say it's still worth playing, and people just don't believe you. You know what I mean? They just like, no, if it was worth playing, you would have rated it higher. It's like, not necessarily. A game can have faults and still be very fun to play. Like, I don't even know why it's a complicated concept. Like,
well,
crazy.
But that's why I would never review Ains. That's why I've always said it, because I'd be the dude who gives every game, like even buggy games, because I can take a lot. As long as it's not deleting my saves or costing me time in the game, I can forgive a lot, especially, smaller developers as well, right? I'll speak out against the big developers, but indie and AA games, like, I will love them. My reviews would all be like, yeah, you're going to love this game. And people would be like, no, like, I can't stand it. There's screen tearing, there's T-posing everywhere. And I'd be like, yeah, but that doesn't take away from the game. Like, the game's good. Like, so that's why I'll never review. But anyways.
They would think you would pay it off for sure.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They'd be like, he's definitely getting paid off for those reviews.
Yeah.
A corporate shield.
I couldn't imagine reviewing games and trying to be consistent, because my biggest thing with reviews in general is like everything's so personal to each person that it's when it's weighed on something like an aggregate, like a Metacritic or Open Critic, and that's kind of the basis score of a game, that you have like certain sites that are weighted more than others, but it's still just one person's take that's reviewing the game. Like, no one person has more weight than another person over an opinion, and like the whole system doesn't work. I hate when like a review reads like, "This is game so amazing, I had so much fun, I love this game, 7." And it's like, what? And then there's like, wow, this game is like has potential, it's got all these issues, they're coming out with a patch next week, it's a 9. And I'm like, well, like, this is the same person that gave the other game that they said was so amazing a 7. I don't understand. It's like, I just wish reviewers aren't able to put aside their biases and their and things like that, just like any other person isn't. So,
and that's why we've always argued, Mav, right? The breakdown that used to be where they break it down in sections by graphics, sound, gameplay, right? That was more, again, I still will argue that is a better way to do things, because what it forced people to do was to look, because everybody values different things in games, much to what Ains was just talking about as well, right? Again, somebody like me who doesn't see, bugs don't bother me like that, then I can look at a game and think totally different than somebody who goes, "Oh God, that screen tearing is just so awful, I can't play this game." Like, there's people out there like that, but I think that forced people to actually deep dive sometimes and read those little sections underneath each score for each different part of the game. And that's what we've talked about this a million times. When a review comes out, I go read the good and I read the bad in each game. And sometimes, Matt, to your point about the fact that you can read, somebody say, "Oh, this is a great game, it's a 7." When you actually read the reviews, which nobody does anymore, right? We know nobody reads. I don't even think the younger generations can read anymore, according to most of the stats out there from our education departments. So, but the fact is that if you actually do, there's common themes that you do pick up even when a game is kind of divisive or starts getting in those 6-7 ranges, if you read enough reviews, you still will find common themes where people all kind of agree upon whether something was good about the game or something was bad. And I think that's the most important part, because again, as an individual, right, I'm not just looking at the score because I want to know, well, these group of people thinks the same way I do. And yes, some of them were bothered by the bugs, but overall the gameplay was so solid that they found a lot of fun there. Well, that means, well, it's probably a game I'm going to like if it's in a genre that I'm looking for. Sorry, didn't mean to take over, but I think it's important because reviewing is, like you said, so crazy. And
the point of reviews used to be as objective as possible to inform consumers, right, on buying decisions. But then it's become so much just a personal taste thing and personal feeling thing that it only really serves the person writing it more than it does the viewer a lot of times.
You got to take into account the thing called social media that takes into play of, that kind of encompasses all of this, because people want to be pseudo celebrities nowadays. So if I can have the most divisive opinion, I will get a following, even if I'm not, even if I didn't play the game, even if I actively tell everybody I don't care about this game, but I'm still going to review it and throw it in the mud, and there's going to be a group of people that agree with me, that are going to continue to agree with me, as long as I have this same behavior. So you got to think about that kind of stuff too. Like it's just kind of part of how things are, unfortunately. And I do like that idea, Pong, of breaking down the game that way, because it actively, the person playing the game, it actively makes you look at those specific aspects while you're playing the game as well. So you do have to actually pay attention.
Well, I mean, most reviewers should do that, but
well,
right.
I
mean, like to think that.
I forget which reviewer said it on social media, but they were like, "But it's my job to not be objective. My job is to be as objective as possible." I'm like, well, that wasn't originally the purpose of why reviews ever started. In any form of fashion of media or purchasing decisions for consumers, it was to be as objective as possible. You know what I mean?
Correct. And legit now, it's just the score, right? Everybody rides that. And to your point, PTK, now the hate trains and the hype trains are both real.
Both
right?
directions.
They're absolutely.
Because there are ultra stands and there are ultra haters too. They go both directions.
And then you just get the vast majority though is just people wanting to be a part of the conversation one way or the other, right? They don't legit have a stance. They don't even understand what is actually being discussed. They just jump on because they see everybody that they like jumping on board. So like, oh hell yeah, let's go. Let's ride. Again, we saw this with Cyberpunk, right? I called this out with Cyberpunk nonstop. Like there was so much hate. Yes, deservedly for the last gen, but again, the hate overall for the game, I was like, guys, you are missing out on a great experience. I played a day one without any on the Series X upper end stuff. You are missing out on a great game. Like there is something special here, and I turned out to be right in the end. Yes. Of course, CDPR.
I think you and I talked about that at the time.
Probably
that on the Series X. I argued with people like, look, I had some bugs. To your point, I had some issues, but this is a fantastic game. It's an all-timer game.
I specifically remember you two saying that because I remember you guys both agreeing on. I'm dead ass serious because you guys were taking grenades around that time.
Oh yeah,
and you think blown up.
Oh, absolutely,
Cyberpunk stuff, and that's the crazy part. Again, CDPR, to their credit, obviously, with the anime coming out and revitalizing the game, the people who had jumped on the hate train, all of a sudden going, well, maybe this is something I want to play. CDPR, to their credit, went back and spent an exorbitant amount of money and time to completely revamp that game, right? And when I go back and play it through for the second time here with the DLC, I know it's going to be a completely different experience because I jumped into it a little bit and said, holy shit, they did a lot here. But still, people missed out on a great experience from the beginning simply because they saw everybody jumping on that hate train. Everybody it was the game that everybody wanted to hate, and that's the part that social media just creates around a lot of games, hype wise too. But again, let's talk. There's a lot of games that get hyped because they see all their favorite people, all their favorite reviewers, whoever. Oh god, they're saying great things. I'm gonna give it his flowers right now before even playing it, and then all of a sudden the game comes out and it just dies off and nobody talks about it anymore, right? And it's like, well, what happened to all that hype? Oh well, a lot of it was social media. That's all. So Anyways.
Yeah, no, big good, great fucking conversation, fellas. It's about time we had that one again for sure. So shout out to the Overlook game. There's a couple honorable mentions, if I can extend this topic a little bit too, that I wanted to throw out there. I don't want to forget. One being South of Midnight. Shout out to Compulsion Games. I think South of Midnight is going to be another game that people look back on and say, God damn it, that was a great ass game. Like, and not a lot of people talked about it. I know it came out earlier in the year, so that tends to be the pattern, especially the last 2 or 3 years. The early games don't tend to get a lot of praise later on in the year, even if they sold a lot out the gate and they got a lot of critical game of the year type talk at the beginning. That tends to die out because there's so many other good games that come out. So I think that'll be another victim of just 2025 being a stacked year. I'm gonna throw this one in the ring too. I have not played it, but I'm gonna go full math here. And the game just came out. I have not played it, but I think it'll be another game that's gonna age very well. The game is Jump Space. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes.
You've heard of it. So I've been on this game since I first saw it. Now the game just came out, I believe, yesterday. And I know it had a few issues on Xbox. I saw some people saying that they couldn't really play through a full session. They were getting kicked out. And so they've already acknowledged, and they're working on that patch right now. They said it'll be ready in a couple of days. So they're already on top of it. And they've already patched PC as well, too. So they're already on top of it, which is great because you want this kind of a game to get as many looks as possible. I think it's going to be another phenomenal game. It gives me Helldivers 2 vibes, but it's obviously in space. It's not the same kind of game, but it's a co-op game, 4-player. I don't think it's cross-platform. I'm not 100% sure. I have to check that. The game is $20, but there's so much meat on the bones. They've already hit their goal for their roadmap. They've already come out and said they'll be able to do the roadmap up until the point that the roadmap ended, which I believe was at the end of next year. And they already got a very extensive roadmap. So it's another one of those games. There's just like a mix of like No Man's Sky, Starfield, and like the Sea of Thieves, you know what I mean? But it's in space and it's just so fucking awesome. So I want to make sure they get a little shine too. I believe that's Keepsake Games. And it's only $20 as well. And it's a ton of replay value. I've been watching streams and watching people playing it. I'm probably going to pick it up here very, very soon so I can play it because it looks awesome. My type of game for sure. So wanted to give them a little love as well too before we switch lanes here. Shout out to everybody in chat. You guys are freaking awesome and amazing. But I got another topic too that I threw out there earlier because I wanted to make sure you guys did a little research too. And this one's a little bit about Game Pass. And we bring Game Pass up probably 20 times a year for various different reasons, fellas. We all talk about it multiple times, the good and the bad, when it's doing well, when it's doing bad, whatever the case may be. But it's been transformational for all of us, and all of us being grazers, Game Pass has been a gift from the gaming gods for all of us. And I know we can all share that same sentiment for sure, because we're the type of people that jump in, jump out for various reasons, whether it be time constraints, real life, whatever the case may be. So I wanted 3 games that you discovered really due to Game Pass and probably otherwise you might not have discovered. Chat, let us know as well too. 3 games that you kind of discovered. Maybe you were just kind of cruising Game Pass and was like, oh, what is this? So I'm gonna start with you on this one, Ains. I don't know if you did any research. I don't know if you saw the question when I sent it to you, but you got 3 games, brother, that you discovered in Game Pass that maybe otherwise you wouldn't have.
Yeah, I saw the question. So I'll be completely honest with you. This one's a little tougher for me just because with SG having like 12 to 14 people nowadays, I'm kind of aware of everything that's releasing.
Good point.
So it's very rare to see something where it's like, unless it's very small or indie or just, something else. It's very rare for me not to be aware of games that are coming out. I will say, to answer your question, even if I wasn't surprised by them, I think there's some games that I really ended up playing quite a bit of or really liked due to Game Pass that I might not have bought otherwise. So I'd say the top one on that is Balatro.
Okay.
I played that a lot. Funny enough, you played a lot of poker in real life, so that game, between being a roguelite and having like poker aesthetics, really vibed with me, and I ended up playing that quite a bit. Obviously that game got very popular, it goes without saying, but there's there's too many games releasing for any of us to play. So even when a game's really popular, right, and people are talking about it, it doesn't mean I'm just going to go play it or buy it if I don't have time. So I don't think I would have ever bought this, so I'm very thankful that I have now, played it because of that and put a lot of time into it. I would say in that same vein, I would not have bought this or checked it out, but I ended up really kind of enjoying myself, at least for a little while, is Blueprints, which
I hear that
came out
from
this
a few
year.
people.
Yeah, it's a very unique game. It's a very kind of cryptic type of puzzle game mixed with roguelite. You kind of do runs and runs through this mansion. And for some people, it's their game of the year. It was very highly rated by a lot of people. I think it's sitting at like nearly a 90 on Open Critics. So it's definitely one of the top games this year. I know Cork was just in the chat saying it's one of his favorite games of the year. But that one is another one, just looking at it and knowing it's puzzle games, which really aren't my thing, I wouldn't have played it. But being on Game Pass, it's, as we've all talked about many times, it's nice just to have that kind of buffet of, hey, taste it, see what it's like. And so I did that with Blueprints. I didn't play it, like a lot of people out there endlessly, but I did put a few hours into it and really enjoyed it. So those are two that came to mind over, I'd say, the past year. Other than that, I think there's probably a few smaller ones here and there that I've tried, but nothing jumping out beyond that. But I'll take a look and see if I can think of another one.
Okay. No, those are great. Once again, this is the buffet you're talking about, and I love it. This is the part of this is why I enjoy Game Pass. This is why I think it's going to be the service that kind of stands the test of time. And no matter what people look at the financials, diversity is probably the strength of Game Pass, in my opinion. Diversity, variety, that's the best thing that it offers. Outside of the subscription. But yeah, I guess I'll kind of throw my hat in the ring before I throw this over to my fellas here. I got a few as well. I think the first one for me would be Torchlight 3. This is a game that kind of introduced me to ARPGs. I just one day decided that I was going to play an ARPG or just an RPG. I was kind of in the mood to try something different. Decided to randomly download this, looked at some reviews. They were kind of mixed. Once again, another one of those games, Pong, that is kind of like a Walmart, like $10 bin situation. You kind of don't know what you get. You read the back of the cover on the movie, like, maybe
you gotta take chances every once in a while, brother.
Yeah,
you gotta take those chances.
It's $8.99. I can swing that. Like it was one of those kind of situations. I just wanted to try something different, and I ended up loving. I actually had you guys play with me a little bit. We all played a little bit, Pong. I don't know if you remember. Me, you,
yes.
Fuzz played a little bit of it. Had you guys downloaded and played with me a little bit. So
yeah, no, we played for a couple nights. We played
played a little bit of it, and then that's kind of what got me into dip my toes into the ARPG. And then you guys suggested Diablo 3, right? The whole bundle, I believe it was, and you guys said, yeah, buy that, and that'll kind of get your feet wet in the whole Diablo world. So that kind of kicked the doors down. Another one for me would be The Ascent, is another game that I really enjoyed, that I hope they do something else. But I know they're working on something else, Ains, right? Aren't they, the developer that's doing The Ascent, Mav, aren't they working on something else as well?
They're supposedly working on a big RPG.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Not a top-down. Like, they're talking like a cyberpunk type situation. So we'll see. Supposedly it's going to be much bigger. So
yeah,
because
Pong's right.
Go ahead, Ains. Yeah, you got more information because you're much more tapped in than I am, especially recently. But I thought that's what I heard, that they were doing something big.
No, you're exactly right.
Because it started with the success of that mod that turned it into a first-person game. The Ascent, you could actually play it in first-person mode through a mod on the PC, and the level of detail they had put into a top-down looter was insane. And that's when first people started dreaming. And I think the developer took that and ran with it, and they're actually going to do that type of level of RPG.
I don't think I ever saw that. That's wild.
It is wild because we're talking about the little tiny stuff inside the stores and stuff, Ains, that you can't see from the top. They had it all. They had it all there. Well, like all of it was in game.
While you're playing the game, you can, I don't know, you can see the detail. I don't know what everybody else is looking at, but Pong, we kind of look at things through a little bit of a different view here, but you could see the detail in the level, the world. There was a lot of environmental storytelling going on because there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue. You did go talk to a lot of NPCs and have conversations, but outside of that, there wasn't a ton of dialogue. So a lot of it was done through like world, NPCs hanging out, activity, people walking around doing different things. You had to stay out of certain areas. The game was phenomenal, and I had hoped that they would do a second version, but this is even better. If they're taking a step out of their comfort zone, I'm cool with that. So hopefully we get that too. And then I think the third one for me is going to be a Core Keeper. That's another game with that kind of it lives on my Xbox. I pop it in, I play it from time to time. It's just a great like Stardew Valley-ish kind of game. It's a mix of probably like 4 or 5 different kind of those games in that genre. But it's a phenomenal game. Tons of DLC, probably 500-600 hours easily you can put to the game, and they're still updating it. The 1.0 version just came out, I believe, like last year on console. So it's a phenomenal game. But Mav, let's throw this over to you, bro. Did you have anything that maybe if you didn't have Game Pass, you might have missed it?
Oh, this was a tough one for me too, because kind of like
you're just aware of everything.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean, to an extent. I mean, not everything, you know, but like a lot of the, if I'm interested in playing it, I probably know about it unless it's like a shadow drop. You know what I mean? So kind of like Ains, with this one, I kind of go in a direction of like, would I have gotten as into it or would I have played it without Game Pass? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And there's actually a series that I overlooked my entire life that in a genre that I love, and that's the Age series, like Age of Empires. When Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition came out, I really got into it, and I don't know if I would have paid as much attention to it if it had not been in Game Pass, because it was just there and to install. So I was like, okay, you know, this is an RTS. I've always been a Command and Conquer guy, you know. Halo Wars I loved, but you know, my RTS growing up was Command and Conquer. It wasn't Age, you know. So when that came out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pay more attention. You know, Pong was excited for it. Jasper kept talking about it and stuff. It was like, all right, you know, this is another RTS that everybody loves, so I'm gonna play it. And I got super into it. So now I love Age 2, I love Age 4, Age of Mythology Retold. I'm just super into all those games. And this is ones that I'll just kind of like pick up randomly and do a skirmish one day, you know, just kind of off and on. And they kind of just live in Game Pass now and they get updated frequently. So I think I've become an Age fan because of Game Pass, as opposed to just kind of overlooking it for all those years, right? So that's kind of one that I kind of had my eye on. Yeah, I played like Ain said, Blue Prince is one that we played this year. I don't think we would have played it if it wasn't for Game Pass as well. I played that with my wife and daughter. We were just kind of going through trying to do find our way through the mansion. Man, that game is frustrating, Ains.
It can be very obtuse. Man. He's not wrong.
I love that game because it's so original and some of the ideas. Like it takes that like rogue,
get with the puzzles,
like,
bro.
You know, like in a lot of ways, it's like Balatro. You know, you make your decisions. You know, and you learn more along the way and to figure out how to play and stuff. But like, man, I don't know if there's ever been a game where I think we've invested like 2 hours into or something and doing this run where it's like, man, this is the best run we've done, and then realize when we didn't get through anything, well, we absolutely learned nothing, and this is absolutely going to help us in no way in our next run. So that was just a wasted 2 hours. So that game is amazing, but it also can be crazy frustrating at times. And so there's that one. So I agree with that. Balatro, I think it didn't hit Game Pass till later, so I had bought it like after all the hype because I like poker and stuff. And I absolutely loved that one. But Vampire Survivors.
Oh, I was gonna actually double back and throw that one in the ring too, because that I'm like a, what do you call it? A Vampire Survivors like horror now, 100%. Like
in like that whole genre now, it's like every single one that comes out is either like $5 or it comes
Pong literally just Pong. He was just talking about
Deep
Galactica. Deep Galactica Survivors. Deep Galactica Survivors.
Yeah, I played that the other day. I was like, oh my god, this is great.
Yep.
So we got this whole vampire like now genre
I love
popping out, and it's that one I don't think I would ever paid attention to it. You know, like it just like, what is this pixelated looking thing that's just like I don't really understand what it is. I wouldn't have paid attention to it, but then I got super sucked into that one. I think probably some of my most played games last year was Balatro and Vampire Survivors. I got them on multiple devices. Like, so I own Vampire Survivors on everything. I own Balatro like on everything, you know, just because I have to have access to them wherever I am. Absolutely love those games. But yeah, I
would
think
say,
Game Pass is a big
sorry.
part of why they got as popular as they did too, though. You know,
True, good point.
Yeah,
ahead,
that's
Ames.
probably a factor we haven't discussed as much too. To Mav's point, is just like it does help those games, especially given the crowded market that we see every week now. It does put some spotlight on those types of games. In fact, I was just going to call one out just to pay attention to. I haven't played it, so I don't know if it's good or not. But if you like Hades, which obviously has become a very big thing, there's a game releasing on Game Pass this week, I believe, called Sworn, which is actually a Hades-like, if you will, a roguelite, but it's a 1 to 4 player co-op. And it plays into like the Knights of the Round Table type thing. It looks really, really cool. So that's another one where, like, if it wasn't on Game Pass and I didn't see it either on my Xbox or PC, like in the Game Pass catalog, I wouldn't even, honestly, outside of maybe a PR email that went flying by me, I wouldn't really have known about it. But now I'm looking forward to playing it. It looks pretty cool. So.
Yeah, that whole genre for me, Pong mentioned it earlier, dude. I'm just, and the best thing about those games, Mav, and I think you started to mention it earlier, they're usually like $5 or less, bro.
Yeah.
Like they're usually so cheap, and they got so much content. Like Vampire Survivor had like 10 DLCs, and they were all, what was Vampire Survivor, like $3? The DLC
I think it was like
$4.99, or something crazy. The DLC was super 99 cents or something insane like that. Like, come on, man. Like,
Brotato didn't even have DLC.
Oh,
Brotato, you could sit there for, I don't know how many hours I got. I honestly got 50, 60 hours in Brotato. For a dumb little game that at first I was like, okay, I like the genre, but I'm not going to get sucked into this. And then every day I'd come home and that'd be like the first thing I'd turn on was Brotato. I'm not even joking. Like, it was crazy.
Oh, man, that's hilarious, dude. Brotato's my shit.
Speaking of those games too, there was one that came out a few weeks back called, or maybe like a month ago, Achilles. It's based on the Greek mythology and stuff, but it's like
Achilles Survivor.
Yeah,
I talked about it at the beginning of the show when I was talking about Deep Rock. Yeah,
it's absolutely a fun one to play too, man.
What was
it? It's got tower defense. Achilles Survivor.
Okay.
Achilles,
yeah, Achilles Survivor. Yeah. It's very good. It's based up on, I don't know if you ever played the Achilles game. Achilles, what is it called? I forget what it's called too. I've got that as well. But it is a survivor game, but it's like tower defense. And you got to build. You get resources and you got to spend them to build buildings that can do different things. Some of them are like spear buildings, and so the mob gets speared, but they damage it as well, and then you can rebuild it. But you got to do certain things while you're actually playing in each level. They give you different mini missions to do. But it's based by it's from the same team that did Achilles Legend Untold. If you ever played that. Which is
I think that was the hardest one I've played.
It's a top-down Souls. Oh, the Achilles Survivor is one of the hardest survivors. Yeah, it is very tough. Once you get the pattern down, it gets easier, but there's a lot of classes, too, that I haven't tried yet. So, yeah, it's a good game.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys like those, I haven't played it again. It's a story of my life, but the one I've heard that if you like Vampire Survivors that may have been overlooked is Halls of Torment. I've been told that by
That's the other one.
people.
We talked about it at the beginning of the show. I brought it up. Yep.
I brought it up months ago because I was
waiting.
playing on PC.
Yep. I've been waiting. I've been watching PC guys play the goddamn game, jealous as hell because I only have a console for like a year and a half now. And I've been waiting, and it's finally on. I just played the demo 2 days ago. It's finally on Xbox, and I cannot wait for the full release, dude. I've been waiting, and it's fucking awesome. I've been playing the demo for 2 days straight.
Okay,
I cannot wait, dude.
I didn't even know it was on Xbox. I've just been told by a bunch of people, like, if you like Vampire Survivors,
dude,
Halls of Torment's the game to play.
That's where it's
the
at.
Deep Rock Galactic is seriously like one of the best versions of Survivor Series yet. It literally earns all those glowing reviews. Like, I could not believe.
Oh, the Survivor one, the new one.
Yeah, that new one that just dropped. It is absolutely freaking an amazing take on the Survivor Series and adds a whole lot too. It is so good, man.
That's really awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, no, awesome. So did I get to you, Pong? I wanted to make
sure.
No,
you did not. No, we got sidetracked.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. Yeah. So we got a little. No, it's all good. That's how it's supposed to go. But so Pong, so however many games, they don't got to be 3 games. I just kind of said an arbitrary number. But just games that maybe otherwise. You might have missed if it wasn't for Game Pass and for various different reasons. Maybe it would have been the price point. Maybe it would have been the genre. Go ahead.
Bro, with the amount of games I touch in Game Pass, this is like a ridiculous question because there's so many. Like, even if I know about them, there's a huge this is my this is my jam, man. This is how I graze, right? So I touch so many, like this is near impossible. So I guess, and I'm going to take you guys a little bit back here, a little bit further back. Actually, I'll start with one that I think was like at the beginning of the Gen 2020s, a Game Pass deal that they did. You guys know that I've talked about before, narrative games are hit or miss for me, and I don't necessarily buy them at all. And so if I get a chance to try a demo or something like that, that's usually where I try narrative based games. But As Dusk Falls is still one of my favorite narrative based games ever that I've played. And again,
that was 2020.
Yeah, it was like 2020 I think it was. Wow. Yeah, it was
God.
a long time ago. Yeah, I know, right? It was a long time ago. I could be wrong, but I know it's very early. I know it's like 2020, 2021, whatever it was. But that would be a game that I would never have bought, right? I never would have bought that game, but that came out, right? And we had, we kind of had a lull, and everybody was kind of waiting on stuff. And so I popped that thing in, and I played all the way through. And you guys know that is rare as well. Like, I don't finish games, even short games. Like, it's just not my thing. I'd rather jump around. But I actually finished that game, and I loved the experience of As Dusk Falls. So that's one off the bat. Then I'll give you another. Yeah, I'll give you another older one. Maybe that was 2022. Maybe that
was 22.
Maybe,
it was
maybe
22.
I got the. Was it 22?
Yeah,
okay, because I got. I think the next one was 2020. I think the next one was maybe I got the two mixed up. I think the next one though was 2020. This actually started my semi love. I'm not gonna say I'm full-fledged love, but well, I play a ton of them, but there's so many variations now. But this game started my affection for roguelikes, and that's Neon Abyss. I never thought I would be into it. And it even has a little platforming, which you guys know I don't necessarily like platformers either, but I jumped into Neon Abyss because it was in Game Pass, and I got hooked on it. And ever since then, obviously, Hades cemented my love for a roguelike. Like, Hades was the one that, like, okay, I like roguelikes. But I think Neon Abyss started that. And it would have not, I would never have paid for it. Wouldn't have bought it because I didn't think it was going to be my jam, but it was in Game Pass. Sitting around one day, said, hey, let's just try this out. Right, let's try this out, and the next thing I know, I like roguelikes, and it's only grown from there. So a lot of credit to Game Pass for that one. And then my final one is a game. There's actually a new one that came out. Both of them are in Game Pass still to this day, and this is one of the success stories of Game Pass for a single developer. And this would have been a game again that I would not necessarily have chosen out of all the games to be able to buy, even from small developers. But I was enthralled. Absolutely enthralled every time I saw the game by the visuals. The minimalistic space aspect of this game really drew my attention. But I didn't know if it'd be a game for me, and that's Citizen Sleeper. And Citizen Sleeper 2 is now out. And I've got them both downloaded. I haven't played Citizen Sleeper 2 yet. But Citizen Sleeper is a narrative heavy RPG. It's based, the developer loves tabletop role-playing games. You actually get to see the dice rolls, right? That's part of your strategy, is the dice rolls to determine outcomes of decisions you have to make. But that is a game that without Game Pass, I would never have jumped into or bought and actually jumped into. I would have said, nah, I got too many other things I really want. But my gosh, am I happy that I did give Citizen Sleeper a chance. And he has had wild success from being in Game Pass. He's been one of the outspoken ones early on that was talking about how much it helped his game, helped him get notoriety. I think he even got up for some awards that year. Citizen Sleeper was beloved by a lot of reviewers, and then that actually led to Citizen Sleeper 2. So those are my three games I'll throw out right now. Again, I could have a million of them, but those are the three.
That is awesome. Go ahead.
If I recall, isn't Neon Abyss 2 like coming?
Yes, supposedly
Okay.
Neon Abyss 2 is coming. I think is it already in Steam or is it coming? I can't remember if they're going to start early access like most games nowadays or not. I can't remember, but I'll check it out. But yeah,
Okay,
they are coming out with that one. It's a really great game. I love Neon Abyss.
Yeah, no, I've heard of the game before too. I remember seeing always seeing that game in Game Pass. Never stopping to download it though. But I do know about the game though.
It's in early access right now. It dropped in July on Steam, so It is in early access right now to mixed reviews. So, but I'm sure the developer's working on it, so it's early access.
Nice.
Yep.
Another good roguelike, just to while we're on the topic, I enjoyed was RoboQuest. I don't know if you guys ever played that.
Yep.
That was another one. In Game Pass, really good game, really fun game too. So yeah, I'm day one on those. those genres, that the roguelikes, and as well as the what we were talking about, the survivor likes as well. I'll always at least be down. After playing Rotato, I'll play anything, man. Because like you were right. I didn't think I downloaded the game. I don't even know why I downloaded it. I think it might have just been
Phil was playing.
What
it
was that? What it was?
Yes. Phil was playing. He was promoting it. That's when he was still heavy on Twitter, and he was talking about Brotato. Everywhere he took a trip, he would snap a screenshot of Brotato. Like, he was loving that game. So, and I just tried it because of the heck of it. I was like, oh, I gotta try this. But
it's an insanely fun game. But I'm all in on that kind of stuff, man. Brotato for the win for sure. But no, I think we done gone through all three of our topics here today. So that's gonna leave us a lot of free time to just answer some questions. We can go back to Speculation Town. Pong, if you got anything this week you wanted to dive into or chat, you guys can drop us some questions as well too. Anything you guys want to get into. Pong, anything else happened this week, man?
I know nothing, sir.
Yo, that's right.
Talking,
that's right.
I'm now on the other side because I'm not hanging out. So I apologize, but I don't have anything.
Good. No, you're all good. No worries. So we'll take some stuff from chat as well too. We'll get some questions from you guys. So go ahead and drop them down there. We'll answer as many as possible for you guys. So I don't think Mav, you or Ains was on the show. So I'm gonna throw this at your feet, Ains, because I asked about it last week. Okay. We're far enough into the year where there's a ton of legitimate Game of the Year contenders.
Yep.
So I'm asking you that question now. Yes, in September. What is your Game of the Year look like as of September? You're not Game of the Year. Well, Game of the Year list, I would say, look like as of right now. So I guess they do 6 generally. So what would your 6 candidates be if you had?
Yeah, Kingdom Come would be number 1. I doubt that's going to change for me. Obviously, if it does, cool. We'll see. I would say if I'm doing 6, oh wow. I think Expedition will probably have to be up there.
Yep. I agree.
For me personally, it depends. Am I putting on my critical hat here, or
I mean, however you want to do it, it's your show. It's your show. However you want to do it, brother. If you want to go right. Ultra critic Siskel and Ebert, or you just want to go, YouTube critic.
Wow, you went way back. Yeah, we showed our age at this point.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
Borderlands 4 is definitely... in fact, I said earlier, Borderlands 4 may be my favorite game of the year, despite recognizing that Kingdom Come's maybe a better game that I love. Borderlands 4, I adore. I reviewed it. I put an insane amount of hours into it prior to release, and I quite literally haven't stopped playing it. I think I'm over 140 at this point. So I'm closing on about 150 hours already in Borderlands 4, and I'm just still playing it any free chance I get. So I'm a big Borderlands guy. I think you and I talked about that, Plam.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
That one's way up there for me.
You didn't have any of the issues.
There were different issues pre-launch.
Okay.
Different issues.
Got you.
So it had some pretty bad hitching. It had some really bad co-op bugs pre-launch, meaning like co-op progress not only didn't necessarily save, but it would save different things for each person.
Wow.
It was very strange reviewing that game with 4 people prior. But right now, as it stands, no, I don't have any issues. I know plenty of people that do. So I think I'm just getting lucky. I think Outer Worlds 2, going back to what Matt was talking about earlier, I think Outer Worlds 2 will probably be on my list at the end of the year. I think it's just going to be. It impressed me that much. I'll give you a little one that I think is maybe going to be overlooked by people other than the people who love the franchise, is that Luminous Arise. Luminous is, if you know Tetris Effect Connected, the developers of that are taking the Luminous franchise and making it this music-based kind of puzzle Tetris-y like game that's also in VR. And at Summer Game Fest, we were there with a bunch of, obviously, the outlets, and I can't tell you how many people played Luminous and said that's our game of show. Wow. It is mind-bogglingly good, if you like that sort of game, of course. So I'm really pumped for that one. I think that comes out in October. And then, sadly, I'll probably have to give you another one that's coming out soon, but it's Battlefield. I'm a big
okay.
Let's go.
Battlefield guy.
Let's go.
Look, see, now you talking Pong's language.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I already know. I already know Ains was going here
I
because we've
know,
talked
I know.
before
Yeah.
about Battlefield. So yeah. Let's go.
We have, yeah. Battlefield is my jam. I obviously, like many of us hardcore Battlefield stands, have been a little down in the last several years. But 6 looks to be a proper return to form, and I'm like planning on taking off work. Like I'm gonna be fully invested in Battlefield. The last one I'll just shout out real quick because I know we're going around is I just want to shout this out. I shout it out everywhere. I'm a big shooter guy. Anyone who follows me knows I play a lot of competitive games. The finals does not get enough credit. The finals from a competitive shooter standpoint is a mind-blowingly good game.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, it's
and
the
it's
best
only
arena
getting
shooter.
better. It's only getting
getting
better.
better
That's the crazy
season
thing
over
about
season.
it. And you know what it's been able to do that a lot of other shooters have not been able to do? Find its own audience and kind of carve out its own niche and stick around. That game's only getting better. I know it went through a bit of a lull for a bit of a time there, but Embark has done a phenomenal job, and them being able to do that game and do Arc Raiders is a fucking massive feather in their cap, Ains. Those dudes got some mad skills over there, dude. They're incredibly talented.
I can't agree more. Yeah. Finals is unique. It's impressive. It runs amazing on every platform. It's very skill-based. The skill gap is huge. In fact, quite literally right now, they're having their first qualifiers for their first grand major in esports. And I've watched some of that play yesterday. The people are insane. I cannot keep up with that kind of pace nowadays. But it is an incredible game. If you like competitive shooters, please check out the finals. And you might have said just one more to throw out there is Arc Raiders. I played the preview of that. I was able to preview it and then play the betas, obviously, and I'll be either reviewing it or previewing it as well. That comes out in a month from now, and that game is fantastic. It is like a I don't know how to describe. I don't know if you guys played it, but it's like a extraction-based PUBG, if you will.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
it's insane.
It's
insane.
Yeah, it plays really well.
insane.
It's very unique, and Embark is crushing it. Probably one of my favorite developers right now.
Funny, they're all ex-Battlefield guys from
Yeah, like
Battlefield 2 and Battlefield
like
3
yeah,
days. Isn't
that's
that
all
weird?
of
Eh?
them,
talent
yeah.
disappear, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I was
know.
gonna say Arc Raiders is gonna probably even wind up being bigger than the finals. I'm not even an extraction shooter guy, but Steele and I played it on the beta weekend,
It's
and
so good,
I
dude.
fell in love with it. Like we had such a great
it's
time.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sorry, I talked for a while. I threw games.
No, you're
all over the
good.
place
No,
there,
you're
but,
good. No. I wanted to jump on that Arc Raiders train a little bit because I'm not even in an extraction shooter. The closest extraction shooter I get is Division, and that's the Dark Zone, and that doesn't necessarily count as an extraction shooter because it's just a mode. But that's about as close as I get. So for me to be interested in that game, they cooked, and let me be 100% honest here. They absolutely stole Marathon's thunder. I don't know if you remember, that beta came out like 3 days after Marathon had their show that Saturday. I don't even remember that, Ains, and they completely stole the thunder.
Oh, they
Marathon.
buried them.
They buried, and because the game is just so unique, bro. It's the sound, the audio is so good. It's so fun to watch. It can be such a great competitive game. It's a game that like is gonna be great for streaming because there's all kind of random moments. The UI is so good. It looks so good. It runs good. Like, I couldn't believe what the hell they were cooking up over there, man. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Ains. The first gameplay I've seen from, one, I wasn't happy that it changed from a looter shooter to extraction shooter to begin with. Because I was like, I was chomping at the bits to get an Arc Raiders for it to be for it to be the looter shooter. I was like, here we go. I need something besides Destiny. I need something because Division wasn't, getting it at the time, although it's in a much better spot now. We are getting Division 3, but for them to pivot from looter shooter to extraction shooter, they already have a fully fleshed out world. And I think that's what is the best part about that game. And that's what separates them from Marathon is that I believe they already had the world built around being a looter shooter. So it was already massive. It was already gigantic. It already had all of these PvE stuffs in it. So for them to pivot to a extraction shooter would just made complete sense. And it actually worked for the game. You know what I mean? And there's a bit of a story too, I think. You played it, obviously. I haven't. I think there's a bit of a story. There's some lore, right, too?
There's lore to the world, yes. And they're going to obviously flesh that out over time. It's kind of funny you bring that up because I played with Travis, actually. I previewed Marathon with him. And so, I'm obviously a Halo guy. Everyone knows that. Bungie, the gunplay was good and everything. But I kind of left Marathon thinking, like, this isn't really grabbing me. You know what I mean? Like it's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like that game that I'm going to want to go back to. And I actually had access to that game in the preview period. And there were times where I was just like, I don't feel like playing it. It just didn't grab me. And then Arc Raider came out and I didn't even really have any hype for it. And I played the preview and I told pretty much everyone who would listen at that point, I said, you guys need to wake up. This game's the real deal. Like it grabbed me right away. And those beta weekends when everyone else I knew could get in, we just played the living hell out of it. I got one friend on a beta weekend, the 2 weekends, who put in like 42 hours, 41 hours. I'm like, he's just crazy. Addicted to it. So I think that game's going to do some numbers next month, no doubt.
Yeah, I think it's going to be massive. I think it's going to do massive like Steam numbers.
How are we going to play that and Battlefield at the same time?
I have no idea, dude. I every day I'm like, am I retired yet? I need more time. Like, you know what I mean? There's just not enough time to play all these games.
It's the best problem, man. It's and it's only getting worse for us because 2026 isn't looking any more freed up than this one. At all. As a matter of fact, it might be looking worse depending on who you ask, Ains, right? Depending on what you're looking forward to, it might be even worse. So
I know you guys talk about this. I think it's just the state of the industry. There's so many developers from so many regions now. And despite the problems that we've seen for different companies and publishers and whatnot, there's still so many other studios picking up the slack.
Yeah.
And you're just getting like game of the year quality games from the smallest studios, the Vampire Survivors, all the way up to your grand AAA experiences. And it's a hell of a time, for gaming. It really is.
Would you call it the golden age?
Ains knows he's gonna owe me money, so he went around
keep that quiet.
Yeah. So I take
you don't want to go in debt. He puts liens on houses and cars, things like that. So I'm still trying to work that out with my attorney.
Hey, I'm trying to get retired too, so I got more time. Exactly. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't blame him.
No, but you're right. So you know what the funny thing about that too, Ains? We have these conversations, and a lot of times you look at social media, and sometimes you got to take a step back and realize that's not like reality, because you just mentioned it. Like amongst the layoffs, amongst the price increases, amongst all of the dissidents and disagreements we have about what's a good game, what's a bad game, what platform you're playing on, what plastic box do you play on? We have way too much shit to play. Like even amongst all of those arguments, we still have way too many games that we could possibly even get to. I see people literally tweet on X one day, say, "Hey, I can't wait for this list of games to come out," and then like 2 hours later, they're tweeting about their backlog that they can't get through it. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's kind of the day and age we live in, right, Ains?
Yeah, yes. I mean, you guys know I've taken a kind of a backseat on the social space in a lot of ways and just focused on content and, what the site and the guys. And honestly, it's been kind of nice because it's allowed me to kind of get back to that, just get back to ignoring a lot of the nonsense we all see out there and just focusing on the games. And so, it's been nice. It's weird sometimes that we get so invested in things that don't matter when the things that matter are sitting right in front of our face.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And, we kind of balance that on the show here. We talk about that from time to time. It comes up, obviously depending on the side of the fence you're on, but it's crazy to really see that, we're here, we're at this point in time, you know what I mean, in history as far as video in the industry. So it's really, really cool to see that we still have so many games to play and so much to do. And we're going to have new consoles coming out. This is going to be like have you guys even thought about that? Like these new like consoles coming out, this is going to be like another jump for us, right? Like as far as like us being uncomfortable with like the hardware we're getting, like us being in new areas, new territory, right? Because whatever Xbox is cooking up isn't something that we've had before. So have you guys actually just kind of, as a random question, actually, have you guys stopped and thought about that? Like, how is this going to change the way you guys play video games?
I've just thought of it as I'm going to be able to access more games. Like, this goes into like when a lot of people were freaking out in 2024 early on about the future and stuff. And I was kind of like, well, yeah, it's kind of strange what's going on, but it doesn't affect me in a negative way. I'm still playing the same games I was playing. Games are still hitting Game Pass. And really, the way I look at the potential future that we're having when they announce that, like, if they announce this hybrid PC console device, it's going to be the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah, it might be more expensive, but it also gives me more form factor option possibilities. So it's kind of what I always hoped for. It's like what I always hoped eventually console gaming would be something where we have more options of hardware, where we have access to potentially every game out there, and less gatekeeping of certain things. Like I hate feeling the necessity to buy a device for one game that I care about. Like I can't, I really want to play that game, but I can't unless I go buy this other piece of hardware. And yeah, that's good for those companies, right? That I have to go buy their device, but it doesn't really benefit them as much as I think, because all I'm doing is playing that one game. I'm not really investing in the ecosystem. They just sit there and collect dust until I feel like playing that one game again. And eventually maybe they have something else, you know? Whereas the main platform that I play on it stays the same. And I feel like that's the truth with most gamers. I feel like most gamers kind of have their home platform, you know what I mean? And they have their home system or whatever place they choose to play the most. And when I look at the future, what we're going to, that kind of takes that away from me, at least to a degree. Now, Nintendo's the outlier, where they're still going to have something occasionally, and it's like, ah, dang it, you know. But if we can get to the point where I can just have one thing, hook it up to the TV, have access to all the same stuff also on a PC, then I'm in the spot where, like, hey, I have more options for the kind of devices I buy. I have more options for access points, and I'm able to enjoy the same games that I've always been enjoying, except just in more ways, you know? So that's what I look forward to. Like, I never was a super Xbox fan just because it's an Xbox. It was because they had the games I wanted to play. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what the same thing on the PC. Like, I play Xbox games on PC, right? I play Steam games on PC or whatever. But I don't see my PC experience as worse because it's not a console box. You know, I actually take advantage of the options I get on PC with the more graphics options and all those other kind of things, and I have all these other storefronts and all that stuff I can access. And now, if I can think of like an easier way, simpler way to buy one device and have that on my TV instead of going and buying a PC and, you know, doing like, hey, that if it's more built for gaming and I can just hook something up simple to the TV and it gives me that same feature set that I have on PC, that's like, it's like a dream for me. Yeah, it might be more expensive, but I would rather pay a little bit more for something that gives me more, right? And then it is a artificial barrier of some sorts. So yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Okay. And I had another question too. This is kind of this is Forza related, so I got to ask Ains. Fuzz, our resident Forza expert, is not here this week. So I got a default to you. I know Mav, you're a big Forza guy too, but so where are you at, Ains, since you're here, brother? I got to ask you while I got the time on this Forza Horizon 6 maybe announcement that we're possibly getting at TGS. Were you always sold? You still sold on the rumor? I mean, you might know a little bit more than we do. I'm not 100% sure, but is that something that you're like 100% in on, or are you just kind of like holding off and kind of want to wait and see?
I don't know anything.
Okay,
that's
exactly what somebody
truth.
who did would say. I knew you would say
but
that.
That's the honest truth. Because I think I'm down with the rumor of being Japan. It's been long requested. I obviously don't have any semblance as to whether that's true or not. I would love for them to announce it at TGS. I think that it would probably be a good time to, given the resurgence of popularity with Forza Horizon doing so well on PlayStation. You know, with 5 and 5 just continues. I don't think some people even realize that 5 continues to be in the top games played on Xbox. How many years since release now? Whatever that was.
What is so 3 million on PlayStation as well?
2021. Yeah, I mean, it led the PlayStation charts for a while. So I mean, they know obviously they have a huge multi-platform hit on their hands at this point, and they can make a lot of money from it. So I'm hopeful. I would love to have that announcement. I think I'm sure Fuzz has talked probably more about this than
man.
I would, but the turn 10 news was very disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a motorsport guy more really at my core, and you know, the new one is good. They've made a lot of fantastic updates to it, but I could rant about that for a little bit. But yeah, I hope so. I hope we get that 6 announcement. I still, in my opinion, think that 5 is the greatest all-around racing game ever made. It's one of, I think I've rated 3 or 4 games since I started reviewing games at 10, and Forza Horizon 5 is one of them.
Wow.
So it's I just think it's a phenomenal game, and Playground kind of hits it out of the park with that series. So I'm hopeful. We'll see.
I don't think people realize how massive of a game it is, and how many. It's like over 50 million players or something like that. I believe something insane. I don't really think people understand like how far of a reach Forza Horizon at least 5 has, and like how big of a game it is, and how popular it is in actuality. Like you said, it's been able to cross over, and it sold 3-4 million copies on PlayStation in like 2 months, 3 months. You know, after being out for like 4 years, 5 years at this point. When did it come out originally? Was it 2020? When did it originally launch?
I don't even remember.
21 for
21
Horizon.
for Horizon 5,
okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm selling 3 million copies. I know it's a new arena you're playing in. It's a brand new customer base, but that's impressive. That is impressive. Even if you haven't played the game, you should. At 4 years in, you probably heard of Forza and maybe seen some gameplay. So for them to still have that kind of draw, and on top of that, that platform has its own racing game as well. Mind you, that's what makes it even more impressive, Ains.
Yeah, it is wild, and you're right. I actually had to look because I hadn't heard that, but over 50 million total people registered in Forza Horizon 5. That's wild.
Can we petition GT7 to release on PC?
A lot of people have been asking for that. Yeah, I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what they're waiting on, to be honest. What are you waiting on at this point? I mean, who else are you selling? What other PlayStation customers are you selling this game to?
I have no idea.
I mean,
no. Yeah.
Open it up.
They were hoping the PSVR 2 was going to take off. I guess because that's the only extra work they did on it was for the VR stuff, right?
Yeah, they have small updates here and there. Yeah, GT7's a weird one to me. But the VR mode is actually really, really cool. But as we know, VR2 hasn't done very well. So I don't think a lot of people are engaging with that. So yeah, I no idea why it's not on PC. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That is one of the.
It's something me and Fuzzy have talked about, and like the only thing we can think of is just because of how slow Polyphony is, and like they're just infamous for being the slowest developers.
Do you guys think that they took any kind of offense that Forza is doing so well on PlayStation? Not offense, but do you guys think? Maybe not offense. That's probably a bad word. Let me not incite a riot. I don't want to be inflammatory here. I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible. I just mean, do you think that like? Because, I mean, obviously, PlayStation sees the value of Forza. They wouldn't have accepted whatever deal for Forza to be on a platform if they didn't think that it would sell, right? Because they get a little bit of piece of that. They get a little kickback. Not much, but it does benefit their platform. So do you think that maybe, or is just Polyphony that goddamn slow, like you said?
Polyphony's just slow.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. But I mean, that's why it takes so long to get a full title out, you know. It's like you get one a generation at this point, and it's been that way for a while now. Then they would do like those like mid games, like the in between, like the GT Sport or like the other one they came out, Prologue, stuff like that. You know, it's kind of like, well, here's almost a Gran Turismo. We're gonna release this instead, and then the mainline one will come out a few years after that, right? So I think they're just slow. I don't think, like, if PlayStation has a problem with Forza being on there, then they should have a problem with the other like 7 out of top 10 games that are played on PlayStation, because those are all Xbox games too, right? Like, I really, their entire like top 15 list is like half. It's usually like almost every week in engagement or whatever. It's usually like half Xbox titles now, like, because you got Call of Duty, Minecraft, Forza, I know Sea of Thieves was on there for a while. Overwatch it comes on and off of that list as well. So I think overall, ultimately, they're just kind of like whatever at this point. I don't know if PlayStation would have a desire. Like the question was like, would PlayStation have an answer or like a desire to make a game like Forza Horizon?
I don't know,
And
man.
I like because Ubisoft's tried with the Crew, and they've done an okay job, but it still hasn't taken off really like they want to. And they put a lot into it. They put a lot into it.
Well, Drive
Yeah,
Club was a thing at
the
one
last
point
Crew game
too.
was quite good.
Drive Club was a thing. Wasn't Drive Club supposed to be the competitor to Forza? Or was that more Forza Motorsport? Was that more supposed to be a?
They were calling it. They were saying it was a Forza killer, but it was kind of like an in betweener. It wasn't really a good match for either Horizon or for Motorsport. But I thought it was a fun game, but like nobody on PlayStation bought it. Like it didn't sell well. So like it was used for like narratives and stuff, but it didn't really sell. I bought it. I had a lot of fun with it. But then it didn't sell up to their expectations, so they closed the studio and shut it down. So it's one where it's like I feel like there's Forza Horizons kind of like it's just got that lock on that genre, right? For that big open world racing car PG type thing now. Like, because if the Crew isn't able to really make as big a dent in there, with that being original multiplat, like that one launched multiplat originally, right? But still everybody compares it to Forza Horizon, and it doesn't really hold a candle to it in a lot of ways. So it's like I think a lot of developers are going to shy away from that genre now. Test Drive was another one that tried, and that didn't go over well when they tried to make their comeback.
Yeah, they had Unlimited Solar Crown, right? I think it was called.
Yeah. I think the closest one to doing it is that Car X company. Because they're really popular on PC and mobile, and because they have like Car X Street, and it's kind of arcadey fun. It sells a lot because it's cheaper. So they're pretty popular, but it's still not anything like Forza.
Huh? All right. So I got another question before we wrap the show up, and this is Forza related too. And I believe I asked this question maybe a couple weeks ago. But I guess we'll wrap the show up on this note. So I gotta ask, and we'll start with you on this one, Ains. If Forza Horizon 6 is in fact in Japan, you just said that Forza Horizon 5 is probably the best type of game of that particular genre ever made, right? One of the few games you've ever gave a 10 out of 10. Do you think Forza Horizon 6 will be a bigger game than 5? Not necessarily just because it's in Japan, but do you think it has a potential to be a bigger game?
I'd say potential, yeah, because now the audience is bigger. So I think 5 brought on a lot of new fans to the series. That's probably a big reason why it's gotten so big. They did some things in 5 that really brought kind of the community, racing community together more. It was more of a car. We used to call it a car PG, right? I'm sure plenty of others say that. And now with PlayStation on board, I think it can definitely be a bigger game, and I think there'll be a lot more hype than we've maybe seen for Horizon prior than just the core Xbox fans, previous entries going into it. So it could. I'm very curious to see what they do. They've evolved their model of kind of like the show and a location for a few years now. It works well. They did a lot of cool things, I think, in 5 that were a little more unique in terms of some of the set pieces and whatnot. But I'm curious to see what they do to further evolve that. I'm not smart enough to think of here's the things you need to add to this, because for me it has so much already. So I'm very curious to see what Playground does there. But potential, I would say yes.
Okay, Pong. I think I might have asked you this already, Pong, but just because obviously there's so much, I'm thinking because there's so much just pent up. This has been something that the community's been highly anticipating. They figured at some point Playground would get around to getting to Japan. So, there's smoke in the air. We're saying there's definitely fire possibly. So do you think if this does happen, it could be a bigger game than 5?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Because to all the points that Ains just made, Plus, you have the pent-up hype of it being set in Japan. Now, again, I think they've got to do a lot of the stuff that we talked about, right? As far as that culture and the nighttime racing and all that kind of stuff. But let's just assume, again, because there's no reason not to believe Playground as one of the best, developers in the world, especially, owning the car PG sector, like Ain said, and actually making it what it is. There's no reason not to believe that they're not going to pull that off. So if they pull all that off, yes, apps freaking lootly, because you're going to talk about 5 brought so many people in, like Ains pointed out, that you put it in Japan, you make it a worldwide thing, you are announcing it at TGS, right? That culture is very prideful of everything they've got. That's going to open up that market even more, because now people are going to be able to play it on their PlayStation, right? Which is huge over there, right? Chances are, I would think that probably Playground's going to find a way to put it on Switch too, as well. I would not doubt that, but I think it has the chance to absolutely take what they did with 5 and even potentially, bump that to, even a greater level. Is crazy as that is at 50 million. I think you could see something beyond 50 million. I think you could see 60, 70 million at the end of the day, if they get it on all devices across all platforms and it's high quality, because so many people have asked for this, and so many people love that whole atmosphere that Japan racing brings, and you've got it with one of the greatest car developers of all time, one of the greatest racing developers of all time.
Yeah, good point. And like you said, I think the market, and this is something that I know we brought up too, is starved for it. We just don't have a racing game that has done that in a very long time. People talk about Need for Speed probably being the last one, right, that actually hit that market and was actually, more true to that style of game, that style of racing, on a universal level. So you get that and you bump that up to like an 11 or 13 when you hand something like that off the Playground. Like you said, it's all determined by how they handle that game. You know what I mean? Like if they go out there and do what we know they're capable of doing, I 100% agree as well too with you and Ains. I do think it'll be, I think, I don't know what Nintendo's bringing to TGS. I don't know what PlayStation's bringing to TGS, but if they can get that if Forza Horizon 6 shows up and it is in fact in Japan, I'm going on a limb saying it'll probably be the biggest announcement of the show. In my opinion, I think it might be the biggest announcement that we get the entire show from any company.
TGS?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless From Software shows up with something new.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they would. I don't think From Software would show off at TGS. Like I think they would save it for like.
No, I know. I'm just
Like
saying,
Keely's
in any realm, like if From showed up, though, it would be pretty massive.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But withstanding, I don't know what Nintendo's bringing. I don't know how much of a presence they're going to have. I know PlayStation's made it very clear that they're going to be there in a big way. I don't know what they're bringing to TGS as well. They could have some shit tucked away. I'm not sure, but it don't really matter what's tucked away. If you get that Forza Horizon 6 announcement, I think it's that goddamn big. I think the PlayStation fans have gotten their taste of it and they want more. It's very clear that this game sells on every platform that it touches. So yeah, and like you said, there's really no other game like it in the market, and why not hand it off and make that game that people essentially have been waiting on. So Mav, bigger than 5?
Oh yeah, if it's in Japan and like here's the other thing too. Like the last Forza was the first Forza game this generation, and it was like a cross-generational title.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that that they were working on the engine and all these other kind of things for a long time. We saw how Forza Motorsport launched, it looked amazing, but then they had even more updates since then as well. So using the tech that they've been working on, plus also you think about they've been working on how to make probably detailed open worlds even more so. The fact that the team was working on Fable, so they can share some of that stuff. I could just imagine this game being jaw-dropping when we see it for the first time. You remember the first time we saw Forza Horizon 5 and they showed
the brush and the
landscape, and then they showed the water and stuff in like this valley.
That's where the nighttime reflections come in, right, man?
Right. Yeah, and then they were like, "Oh, wait, this is in game?" Like, wow. And then we saw the cars and stuff. It was like that was a way to reveal a game and show like impressive like visually and stuff. But they actually delivered on the visuals at launch too. Like when people came out, it was like, it wasn't this thing. It was like, oh, it doesn't look as good or anything like that. Like, no, it was like groundbreaking. And that was for then in 2021 when these consoles and this generation was fresh. So I could even imagine what Forza Horizon 6 is going to look like, kicking it up another notch, but also building upon the investment that's been made into Forza Horizon, because Forza Horizon was always kind of a big franchise, but nothing like 5.
Yeah.
Like 5 launched it into a mainstream ultra game stratosphere, and Microsoft sees all this. They see how many players play, they see all the money that's coming in from it, and this is like double down on investment time for them. When a game is this successful, you got to keep it that successful, this franchise. So that means more investment, more things going into the franchise. And I could imagine that going into this next Forza Horizon, to where it is also bigger. There's probably going to be more cars, you know, that I would imagine a lot more detail. What I'm hoping for is they take it up further with customization, with modding, your cars and tuning, all that kind of stuff as well, especially for the tuner culture of Japan. Right. I want to see more variants of cars from Japan as well. It's been very Europe heavy a lot of times in the Forza games in the past. But if you are going into Japan, I want them to fully embrace that culture, like Pong was talking about. And that means emphasis on drift racing. That means give me a city. Now, this is that'll be the thing. It's like, it's not going to break it for me if they don't do a city, you know, but that's something they've really never done before, and that would be kicking it up a notch. From, like, if they could do like a detailed, somewhat scaled version of Tokyo and with a highway system and bring the city lights and everything in there and have this legitimate like street racing mixed in there with the countryside stuff, that will kick this Forza Horizon up a notch for me, because I can't imagine a racing game set in Japan without the culture of Tokyo street racing, right? The tuner culture, the meetups, and all that kind of stuff. It's easy to imagine, like, without it, like what they could do. Like, okay, you got your mountains, you know, you got your mountain racing, you know, you got your you got cherry blossom trees everywhere and all these other kind of things. You got your lakes and stuff. Amazing, beautiful vistas, villages, all that kind of stuff. You can imagine, right? Man, I really want the city night lights in a Forza game. And there's no better place to do it than if you're going into Japan and give us that pure street racing feel. So that's what I hope for. If they don't deliver that and they just give us beautiful countryside stuff and villages and stuff, hey, that's cool too. Whatever. But man,
nice,
if they do it, and that's how they showcase it, right? And imagine them revealing at TGS in Tokyo, right? In Tokyo, imagine at TGS, they have the reveal and they show the city of like, oh, it's just hey, this is a shot of us here at TGS of the city. Oh, it's a real shot. And then they zoom in and zoom in and zoom in. And then you see a tuned up streetcar on the street and it revs up and it hauls ass. And then it says Forza Horizon 6 across the screen. Everybody will go apeshit crazy. It would just be absolutely awesome.
And I'm hoping it happens exactly like that. Dead ass, man. That's such a good that's such a good that would be so good though, dude. No, I agree, man. I think 100% will be the biggest announcement there. Like I said, this is me not even knowing what Nintendo or PlayStation is bringing to the show. You know, I think it'll be a massive announcement. But on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up. Shout out to everybody coming in late, Cygnus and Prey Grasso. You're going to have to catch the replay, but we do greatly appreciate you all watching live with us. We hope you guys hit that button if you do enjoy the show in its entirety, as well as subscribe to the channel. I'm going to make sure we get our outros out as well. So let me just start with our first guest, Ains. It has been a while, sir, since you've been on the Shop Podcast. Will thoroughly enjoy you being here, brother, and I appreciate you. We've been trying to get linked up for a few weeks here in the DMs, you know, talking back and forth, and things haven't worked out, but we made it happen this week, and I greatly appreciate you just taking a little time to hang out with us, chilling, brother. But let everybody know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a little crazy in real life, but always love being here. I always make time for the shop and for you. We've talked before in the past around how I think, one of the first shows I was ever on when I started SG and first got into this stuff. So I'm always appreciative of that. So I'll always show up. But yeah, appreciate that, guys. Great to catch up with Pong and Mav as well. It's been a long time. I'm glad to hear everyone's doing well and still loving games. On my side, I'll be quick. I'll just shout out. For those of you who don't know me, I just run a small site called Season Gaming. We do a weekly live show on Sunday mornings called the Big Cast. And we do a range of coverage from typically nowadays, mostly reviews, previews, and opinion type stuff. Pretty dedicated group. It's all done out of just love for games. So if you swing by, we certainly appreciate it. Other than that, always great to be here. And obviously we'll stay in touch and we'll do it again.
Absolutely, man. You guys go show some love to Season Gaming. All his information is down in the description below. So one of the most ethical, let me make sure I say that again, ethical gamers and websites that you'll go to, you're going to get the fair balanced take. And I don't do this type of marketing for everybody.
I don't know. He's still got Tie Guy on there, don't you, Ains? I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
He's on the show. He's not on the site.
Yeah,
there might have to be an asterisk there.
Well, let me backtrack a little bit just before I paint myself in a corner here. No, but no asterisks. I'm speaking just as Season Gaming as a whole. But no, Ains really speaking of his character for the most part. He's just an awesome gamer, awesome guy. Met him in real life, even better person in real life as well. Super awesome person. So I appreciate you taking some time out, hanging out with us, man. And like I said, true, genuine gamer. Go support Season Gaming. They do a lot of great work over there. There's a lot of great people over there doing some hard work, bringing a lot of awesome news to people. So shout out to you, Ain. Shout out to everything you got going over there, and much success, continued success, as well as growth over there at Season Gaming, brother. Got to have you back.
Thank you, man.
When you get some more free time. Appreciate you, man. So I'm going to throw this over to you, Mav, my other brother, my cousin. Like you said, always making it on the show. Appreciate you hanging out with us as well, too, man. I know you're not doing as many shows, but I always appreciate you making time for this one when you can. But let everybody know where they can find you if they don't know already, Mav.
Yeah, thanks for having me, PTK. Ains is great catching up to you, man. I still remember when y'all kicked our ass during the Halo tournament that we had a couple years ago. Still haunts me to this day in my nightmares. I still blame 3-Bit for that, for showing up first time trying an edible before the show. Before the stream.
I appreciated it, but yeah,
we missed 3-Bit. He was our ringer, and he let us down. But
wow,
man,
it's holy moly.
Yeah, too bad Ains' whole team was ringers. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Ains
brought like a esports team with
MLG crew.
Yeah, they're all saying like all these call outs and stuff. I'm like, oh man, I've never played Halo this way before. Shoot,
Bird's Nest.
I thought I was pretty
Bird's
good.
Nest.
It was great, man. It was good fun. But appreciate you, Ains, and your like grounded, actual, objective like thoughts and with your site and stuff. Like I always thought Season Gaming is like, for all the gaming sites out there and stuff that do reviews and all that stuff, you guys do it the right way. Don't make it about yourselves. You make it about the games, and that's what matters, right? So appreciate you for all that. PTK, it's always great to be here. Pong Soul, I guess I'll see you on Thursday, bro. On Fun Speculation, Ultimate in the PM, whatever we're calling our show now, our one night show on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, go check that out. YouTube Fun Speculation. And also something me and my wife are doing is we have our own other channel that's kind of separate from the gaming stuff called SUBSCRBE Network, where we're doing kind of like vlogs, and we're doing a separate like kind of a husband and wife podcast thing where we just talk about whatever. So tonight we're probably going to record our 3rd episode of the podcast for that. But if you want to see me stuff my face and spill mustard all over my shirt and my jeans, go check out the food blogs over there on SUBSCRBE. But
awesome.
Yeah, PTK, thanks for having me, man. It's always good to be here, bro.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Kate as well, too. The brains of the operation.
Mav just narrowly avoided some problems there.
I know he did. I know he did.
You see that?
My husband, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I'm like, Mav, if you don't speak up, if you don't say something about
you better plug that other show there, Mav.
No, I got it. Hey, man, it's fun. It's been fun doing that. Actually.
Yeah, no, it's been great watching you guys. Yeah. No, for sure. It's been great. And I appreciate you on the show, man. Appreciate you and Caitlin as well, too. I've been keeping up. I've been seeing the clips on TikTok as well. So you guys are doing your thing on the other socials as well, too. So yeah, you guys, everybody, go check out SUBSCRBE Network. Go check out everything Mav has going on. Not as many gaming shows throughout the week, but once again, you're going to get at least one very high quality show and maybe a couple streams here and there when he has time. But yeah, I appreciate you, Mav. Like
nobody wants to see me stream 2K and Madden. It's like all I've been playing lately, man. So it's like,
it's all good, brother.
I'll get my ass kicked on stream a lot if I stream that.
You should stream the Cowboys games.
Like actually, like do like a watch along.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I cuss a lot during our actual
streams. Oh wait, never mind.
No, but I don't know like how much I can contain myself if I'm actually streaming and talking while I'm watching a Cowboys game. If I was streaming and actually talking about the Cowboys game while I was watching it here, I would probably have gotten your show banned from YouTube just now. With the stuff I would have been saying watching this game. Absolutely insane.
No worries. Maybe not. So we'll keep that one on the back. We'll parking lot that idea. We won't quite go that route just yet. But no, I appreciate you always hanging out with us, man. Like I said, you always welcome here, no matter what, brother. You and Kate, appreciate all you guys. Shout out to the Fun Speculation fam as well, to all the other homies out there as well. But man, last but not least, my brother Pong, another awesome week. Had Ains here this week. It's been a while. Had Mav here, obviously. But let us know where they can find you, man. Let everybody know.
Yeah, no, what a great time to be back. I'm glad I could make it tonight. Like I said, lot going on, as everybody's got a lot going on, but man, am I getting busy. So it's great to sit down and talk with the brothers. And obviously, first of all, Ains, man, it's been a long time, sir. I was trying to think back when's the last time it's been, but it's great to hear your voice, man. Great to hear your voice. Great to hear your thoughts. Always appreciative of everything that you guys do over there. And just so thankful that you could make time to come here on the Shop Podcast, man. I could sit down and do a show with you. So thank you, brother, for that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, Ain't. No, absolutely, man. And Mav, of course, I always get to see you around, brother. But good to have you on an extra show this week. Now that I'm down to 2 shows, it's always extra special when you get to do another one here at the Shop Podcast. So thanks, brother, for being here as well. And PTK, man, we held it down without Hollywood Fuzzy. We're losing Fuzzy to Hollywood,
Fuzzy
man.
Ford Coppola is what I'm calling him. Fuzzy Ford Coppola.
No, he's like the money man now. He's just the money man. So he's in the background.
That boy shooting movies. He don't got no time for us. He out there big blockbuster
Did you notice
stuff, buddy.
his blow up on his setup?
Oh man, I saw that too.
He's bringing the movie studio equipment into his house now. Like, hey, this is my new podcasting shit, guys. Check it out.
Here's my 8K red camera.
Yeah, exactly. He has somebody standing over him with a boom mic while he's doing a podcast. You just can't see it.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's got.
See it dip down over his head occasionally on accident.
He's got to keep up the appearances now. He's on a whole nother level now. So Hollywood Fuzzy, hopefully he can join our show again at some point and come back to us.
Did you notice? Did you notice like last week Fuzzy like said he was stepping away and he forgot to turn the camera off, and somebody came in and put a bunch of powder on his face?
Oh, I was just gonna say makeup was on set. Yeah, makeup was on set for that. Yeah.
They were bringing it in and powdered his. He was like, my nose is shiny.
Oh my goodness, you guys!
Lifestyles of the rich and famous. That's where Fuzzy's at right now, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Did you not notice, Ains? This might be new to you, huh, Ains?
Yeah.
This is all new information. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Fuzzy's stepping up.
He's got a head buffer that comes in and like busts the top of his head so it doesn't shine as much.
Oh my god, this is cool though, man. Good for him. Like I said, I'm kind of out of the mix on a lot of social stuff, so I didn't know this. No.
Yeah. Him and the wife, they're funding movies now, man. So it's a whole new level. Hey. So no, we hopefully get him back next week. Of course, and we'll be able to razz him a little bit when he comes back. But no, this is great. Glad to be here. Chat, thank you all for coming out and supporting not only this show, as I always say, it's all of our shows. Whether it's a slow week or a busy week, it doesn't matter. You guys show up and nothing but love and respect because you guys are why we get to do this. So thank you all for being here. And then obviously, again, you know how to follow me, Ponxel, everywhere. Only 2 shows now. So next week, Thursday, right? Over at the Fun Speculation channel with the Not PM and the PM Fun Spec Family Super Show Thursday night teardown. I don't know what we're going to call it, but we're going to come up with something.
Call it the hoedown.
The hoedown. Yeah, the hoedown. Let's do that. So yeah, whatever it is on Thursday nights, be there. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time, like Mav said. We always have a good time. The rest of the family's all invited in, so you'll see Steel come on through, you'll see Jasper come through, you'll see Fuzzy show up. So whoever's available shows up. Otherwise, it's pretty much me and Mav as long as I can go. So God willing, I'll be there on Thursday night. And then of course, Living Split Screen is on hiatus until further notice down the road. And so next week, God willing, I'll be back here Sunday night for another episode of the Shop Podcast. Otherwise, everybody, is the golden age of gaming. So please, whatever you're doing, have a great time. Have a great start to your week. Play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. PTK, get us out of here, brother.
And appreciate you, Pong. You guys go follow Pong as well too. Everything he got going on, like you said, down to 2 shows. But man, go check out the socials. Shout out to Fuzz too, Hollywood Fuzz, man. We'd love to see you back next week. We love you, brother. Hopefully you and wife here having a ball out there and having a good weekend as well too, man. But yeah, once again, your host PTK Blam, first and foremost, Ains. Shout out to you for being back here on the show, bud. It's been way too goddamn long, brother, but I appreciate you taking some time. I know you kind of got other things going on, but you still always make sure to, reach back out to me when I send you messages and things like that. So I appreciate you greatly, and very highly respect everything you got going on with Season Gaming. Like I said, people, we are not lying on this show. Mav said it, I said it, Pong said it. One of the best gaming publications you can, get your information from out there. So go show some love, go show some support. And like I said, Ains, always love having you here, brother. Same thing with you, Mav. Same thing with you, brother. Yeah. Like I said, family of the show here, man. Same thing with you, Pong. So I appreciate you guys, and you guys can follow me, PTK Blam, across the board. That's going to be all in the socials, as well as the TikTok. I got that popping Monday through Friday doing daily videos. So you guys go check me out there. Otherwise, I will be back here next Sunday with another guest. Fuzz will probably be here as well, too. So should be another awesome show. Got TGS, so more than likely we'll be talking about that. But you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.